Spoilers of the Damned. Hello and welcome, friends, to the shit.
Oh, no. What number is it? 22?
Yeah, no, that's exactly why I stopped. Okay, I'm going to start again. And
Okay.
hello and welcome to the Spoilers of the Damned podcast, episode number 22. Today we are going to be talking about Braindead, aka Dead Alive, one of Peter Jackson's films before he made Lord of the Rings and learned how to make good films, maybe. Who knows?
Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, we already have had a little bit of a discussion about the movie and some things about sort of like this movie that have changed in my mind since the last time I saw it. But we'll get into that. How are you guys?
Sorry, did you just ask how Mario is? Because Mario Odyssey is great.
It's fucking good.
Yes. We are a horror podcast. But last night I got to a world where there was a giant dragon and a stormy castle. So
What?
I reckon that fits the description for horror game.
I'm not that far.
Technically.
It
Spoilers.
does now.
Oh, sorry.
Spoilers.
How far
Yeah.
are you, man?
I'm on a level where I run around and collect moon power.
That is true. That's pretty much the entire game.
I'm at the first level of New Dunk City. It's all rainy and nasty. And I know
Oh, yeah, I
It's all
just got
moody.
past that part.
it's so moody.
Oh, I'm ahead of both you guys. Okay.
Bastard.
Well, you've had it longer than me, all right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like this was fair or anything. No contest, jeez. Yeah, it's hard to put down. Like, it's just like, you just want to get more moon powers. Sorry, power moons. Or, I mean, shines. I mean, stars. I mean,
Things.
flags.
Oh, the things I could tell you that would spoil. That I'm not going to. We're not going to go there.
Yeah, don't
Um,
don't spoil Mario for anybody. It's so far it's a lot of
Incidentally,
fun.
yeah, there's something else I have to apologize for in advance. If any of you listeners hear loud whizzings and bangs and pops, it's because today is annual celebrate the foiling of terrorism day, aka bonfire night. So remember the 5th of November.
The gunpowder
remember to go to
treason
Asda.
plot. Oh, sorry.
No. Remember to go to Asda, pay 20 quid for fireworks that are shit and annoy our pets.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, guys.
You hear any
Yeah.
whizzing or banging coming from me? It's just me taking shots at the local kids, so it's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Wow.
Get off my property!
Yeah. Another 5th of November tradition.
Yeah,
The
shooting
children.
kids. It's
Bonfires draw
weird.
them out.
It's actually weird for me to hear you guys talk about it because I didn't know it was a real thing. I just thought it was a comic book, and they just came up with the 5th of November because it was a perfect way to rhyme into that thing. I knew that
he completely ripped it off.
I knew the Guy Fawkes masks were a real thing. I just didn't know what they correlated to. But I'd seen them because anonymous. If you're listening, I guess cool masks. But I thought that's what that was all for. Like someone just remembered a thing, and then they just started using the masks, and then there's a movie made out of it. I didn't realize it was an actual yearly 4th of July level celebration for you guys.
It's weird.
Yeah, I guess it's not as big as 4th of July, because you're celebrating freedom while really the people who are outside shooting up fireworks and setting up bonfires are celebrating the establishment winning, essentially, not getting blown up.
Yeah.
The government and the Queen, continuing to oppressively rule us. But yeah, we got a pretty bonfire.
I don't know, and I'm not trying to make any commentary on your government, but a lot of stories, especially in the Final Fantasy universe, have empires, and they're almost always oppressive. I just kind of think that's unfair, There's got to be a good empire somewhere.
Well, yeah, see, I'm struggling to think of any, because I can think of plenty in history, and they've had the good things, like straight roads and trade routes and things like that, but usually it's always kind of like a trade routes to our country to give us the things from your country. So,
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Sure.
We built these for us for you to give us your stuff. Yeah. So, well, anyway, happy 5th of November.
Yay.
It's great. Boom, boom, boom.
But, well, one thing I was going to talk about horror-wise is something that kind of annoyed me, actually. Since the last cast, me and my wife went to see a film called The Ritual, Don't know if you guys know it.
Oh, is
Nope.
that the British horror comedy?
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen
not
it yet.
comedy. It's not comedy.
What?
No, it's not comedy.
The trailer, it's... What?
The trailer had a couple of funny moments in it, yeah, but it's not a comedy.
All the trailers I've seen are played for laughs. All of them.
Yeah, they're played for laughs a little bit, but trust me, the movie is not like that. The trailer lied.
When they do that.
Well, basically, my wife had read the book. Apparently, it's based on a book. So she said, "Oh, we have to go see The Ritual." And the main thing that made me want to go and see it was the fact that it had the main star. I can't remember his name, but he was one of the two Andys in Hot Fuzz.
Oh, is it
And
Paddy something?
No, not the other one.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean.
I think he's the son of Timothy Spall. Not sure.
What? Let me look.
Yeah,
at this.
I think he. Yeah, let's look him up now. He's also in Shaun of the Dead, and he's also in he's in all three of the Cornetto movies.
Yeah.
In Shaun of the Dead, he played the shop assistant who said, "You've got red on you." In Hot Fuzz, he was one of the two Andys, and in the Cornetto the other one, whatever it's called, World's End, the not so good one. I think he played a couple that were being shown around a house by what's his name? Can't call anyone by their real name. Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah,
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman, yeah.
So, have we found his name yet?
Rafe Spall.
Rafe Spall, that's it. So that was the reason that I thought, okay, yeah, let's go watch it. Anyway, long story short, it's got a great premise. It's got brilliant visuals. It's got shit all plot. And the problem, it kind of highlighted for me a specific problem that I think a lot of horror cinema has got these days. And that is just bad things happen for no reason. And I hate that as a plot point. It really shone home to me in this one, though, for some reason, because we had a kind of initial setup. Basically, the premise is they're this group of friends. They're kind of a bit older. They were friends at university. They go out drinking every so often, but it's getting further and further away, like those times happen because they're having families and growing up and what have you. Anyway, so it's on one of these nights out that the main character and his friend are kind of like in a newsagent's while there's some kind of like a heist going on. And the main character hides, but the other character doesn't get to, and he gets killed during the process of this stick-up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
Yeah, and they were talking about, for that guy's like stag weekend, he wanted to go hiking in some kind of like Swedish woods or whatever. I can't remember exactly where it was.
Yeah.
So they decide to go there to honor his memory. And so the trailer builds it up that basically the main guy might be a bit unhinged because he's kind of seeing things to do with that night where his friend got killed, and the other people are saying things to him about it. The movie dwells on it for about 5 minutes, and then the rest of it is just them going through the woods and getting picked off one by one with no real end in sight or any reason for it happening. And then when you do get a reveal at the end, which is basically... do you guys mind if I spoil it for you? I mean, it is spoilers to the damned.
I don't plan on seeing it, so...
I might get around to seeing it at some point. That's the only problem for me.
Okay, then don't do it.
Okay, so basically there is some kind of big bad that is the reason for these things happening, but we do not get any reasons why the big bad is there or does what it does. It's just kind of one of those things. It's almost like...
The Bye-Bye Man?
Yeah, kind of. The problem I have, because I mean, there are some examples in this genre, like of this plot type, that work really well. For instance, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, okay, is a plot where a group of people turn up and something, they unbeknownst to them, stride right into the middle of a fucked up situation. And there's no reason why those people are like that or why it happens to them. It's just kind of like, shit luck, mate. You've driven into the wrong house. Whatever, done. That's fine. That's okay. The problem is, like, recently, more and more horror films I watch are just kind of like, even with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there was kind of like, we're going to kind of tell this story of a weird kind of like Ed Gein inspired family. Resident Evil 7, for instance, takes major influence from that in the fucked up family that eat people and are weird. Even that is like some kind of explanation as to why it's happening or what have you. But nowadays it's just kind of like, have you guys ever seen The Strangers?
Yes.
No, I haven't, not yet.
Oh, okay. The Strangers is a shit fucking movie that I hate. Because basically And trust me, it's not spoiling it for you. It would spoil it for you if you watched it, because you'd have a bad time. Basically, some people show up at a house and torture, murder, mutilate 2 people, and then just fuck off to the next house. Like, the twist ending is that, oh shit, they didn't have a reason for doing this. They just do this, and now they're going to go do it to someone else.
Wait a minute. I don't think that is the one I had on my list, actually.
Okay, good, because
thinking
trust
of a
me, you don't
different
want it on your list.
So the Visit, something like that. It's not the strangest.
And
Something else.
it's just kind of like that idea of, oh, it's just shit happens and you're in the way because we needed to make a horror movie.
Like, I actually remember the ending real quick. The ending was basically they finish their job and then they ride away after the sunlight. After the sunlight rises and the day starts, and they finish and they're like, we should do this again sometime. And that's when the credits roll. So that's the reason. Just cause.
Yeah, the reason is just cause. And the ritual, again, without spoiling it too much, it just felt kind of like a lot of stuff happened just cause. And I get kind of fatigued with that kind of plot because I don't have to have everything explored for me and laid out in meticulous detail. But I do need a kind of a hint, or at least a kind of a gist, to, kind of like paint some color into these backgrounds and like you can't have atmosphere when it's just kind of completely unexplained and just happens for no reason. So I would recommend watching The Ritual, especially if it's like on Amazon Prime, so you've already paid for it, it's on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it was it had lots of really nice ideas, and I think that's what annoyed me the most, actually, is that there are these cool sequences. It's not kind of like a spoiler, but basically, in the woods, whenever this monster shows up and starts taking people, the main character kind of has these visions of this night, where his friend got killed, right? So the really cool thing is, like, literally, they're physically there. Like, he can see them. So basically, he's walking through the woods, and then, like, shopping aisles like appear in the middle of the woods, like I guess like the furniture in a store with the shelving units.
Yeah.
Like they appear like in the woods, like there's like leaves over them and everything, and so the whole imagery was really, really nice. And even the big bad, was kind of like nicely designed, but at the same time, there was like sigh.
It doesn't do enough right.
It had good ideas. I think it annoyed me the most because it fell just a little tiny bit short of being good, like recommendable. And that's the problem I have, because obviously horror is cheap to make. It's it's kind of fairly popular, so a lot of people don't try when it's easier to kind of put something out. And I mean, we witnessed that with the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Like when you don't think it, don't say it. When you consider how the Bye Bye Man was successful, money wise, like because then they make like 3 times their budget back or something.
Yeah.
So that was a success. That was a net profit success. And the Ghost in the Shell remake, which was good, and I would fight anybody and say it's actually better than any of the originals. I'll fight you.
Chris has killed several people over this movie.
Yeah, I have trophies in my room, heads on plates, or on plaques, just all over the place. And they're like, I have like the word liar written in like with a knife on the wooden plaque on each one of them. So try me, come at me. Let's go. But that lost like $60 million in the box office. So it's like, yeah, because like their budget was $160 million and they made $100 million back. At least that's of the time that I last looked, which was like a few weeks ago, maybe a month or 2 ago. And it's like, why, when you have those figures as a corporate executive suit person, why would you push for the Ghost in the Shell remake kind of thing when you could just push for these cheap horror flicks that somehow make their money back? Even if they're not making exorbitant funds in return, you're putting so little into them that you could probably have like horror film farms where you just have like the like small groups, small cells of people just like constantly churning out horror flicks and then just like keep pushing them out there until they're not profitable anymore.
Yeah, in a couple of years, I can imagine they kind of program computers to make them. So, like, the actors just turn up in a page of script gets printed out, and they film it, and like the computers are writing the films themselves, editing them themselves.
Yeah. Like the CEOs just
That's a
pay
horror
one
movie.
lump sum. Yeah, it is actually. Pay one lump sum for like an algorithm that just basically churns out horror films all by itself.
It's like the X Man or the Y boobly doobly doobly.
The variable.
Boobly. That's the scariest one.
The Oogie Boogie Fiend.
The Oogie Boogie Man.
Yeah.
What was the one in? What's he called in Sinister? Is it Bagul?
Something like that, yeah. Bagul.
Bagul.
That just reminds me of the Jungle Book.
Yeah, and Pazuzu from The Exorcist too.
Yeah, Pazuzu.
Pazuzu.
It's like, well, you're not scary anymore because you're called Pazuzu.
Yeah. Guys, we gotta run from Pazuzu over here.
No wonder he's so pissed off all the time. Everyone just makes fun of him.
It's not funny. This is why I don't tell people my name.
It's an ancient name. It's an ancient, honorable name.
This is why I call myself Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy. Yeah. Horror-related stuff. I have taken to watching YouTube a lot when I'm in the gym. And one thing I did watch that's horror-related and actually related to this movie in a way is Mr. Plinkett's zombie review.
I watched that recently as well, actually.
Yeah. I liked it, and I advise anyone to watch it if they like Red Letter Media stuff. But one of the things I really liked about it was the first time I've seen anyone, like, official, like, through some media channel, bring up the fact that zombies can't digest people.
Yeah.
You know, like, after a while, they're just going to get full, and they're just going to wander around and do nothing. Because you can't put anything else in you. You know?
I can't remember if it might have been in the Zombie Survival Guide. I think that Max Brooks might have brought that up. And
He
said
does.
that
He has a big chapter on it.
Oh, he does?
I think he's essentially kind of explained that unless you're talking about like ones that get to the Arctic and perfectly freeze themselves, that the whole thing will burn itself out in like a year because like the corpses won't be able to sustain themselves.
Right.
So all you've got to do is just go somewhere and hide out for like a year and you'll be fine.
Go to some mountain somewhere, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Except, like you said, the ones that kind of like get to the Arctic, freeze, and then like Captain Caveman get thawed out later and start it all over again.
Captain Caveman.
Yep.
Oh
And
no, it's
son.
Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman and the Pussycats, was it? Like, I can't remember.
No,
No,
that's
it's
Josie and
Captain
the
Caveman.
Pussycats. We know you're trolling.
No. Captain Caveman got like grouped with like this. They were like a girl band. I'm not dreaming this. Yeah, Captain Caveman.
Are you sure?
Like,
Absolutely sure.
The only thing I remember Captain
The
Caveman
Teen
getting involved
Angels,
with.
Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
Okay.
Oh,
It
God,
wasn't the
yeah.
Pussycats. Okay.
Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, they kind of have a reputation in the 60s and 70s for not putting out great animation.
Yes.
Well, no, but it was cheap and new, and there wasn't much competition, I don't think.
Well, yeah, I think like I can't remember because obviously I do kind of like digital media, so I've been doing some animating at work recently. I was reading a thing about animation, and Hanna-Barbera like literally did like 12 frames a second, or maybe even less than that, like 8 frames a second. Because they were like, "Fuck it, just cut some frames out."
Yeah, keep it cheap, get more out.
Yep. But on top of the zombie review thing, they mentioned that one particular fact, which I really enjoy because, you know, it's like when you start bringing logic into the whole zombie thing, it really just does not work unless it's like diseased, rage, fever-induced zombies or whatever. But even they would burn themselves out even much quicker. They also bring up the fact that like, oh no, I had it when I was talking about it, and now I lost it. They can't digest people. Oh, right. They have the 6-on-1 thing, where like if you have 6 zombies and 1 survivor, and the 6 zombies kill and eat the survivor, there won't be anything left of that survivor to turn into a zombie. Hence, not adding to the zombie apocalypse in any significant way. If you reverse that, you have 1 zombie and 6 survivors. Well, that zombie is going to get screwed. So that zombie's not going to do anything at all. So those 6 survivors are going to keep pushing and killing the small, weaker zombie population, and therefore also taking away from the zombie population, and therefore like the zombies don't really spread. But if you have a 6-on-6, 6 zombies versus 6 survivors. The 6 survivors can also still easily survive that because they have tactics, they have weapons, they have the ability to think, and do things that the zombies won't be able to do. They could like crush the zombies with a grand piano or something like that. I mean, that wasn't something specifically mentioned, but that's just like, if you get the idea, you can drop a weight on them or you could shoot them or whatever, and then that would also cull the herd of zombies as well. So like the actual spread of zombies is sort of far-fetched even in like the movie terms. Unless you have like that one scenario in I think Dawn of the Dead, where they're in the apartment complex, and like the lady sees her husband, and she's like, "Oh, you're there, whatever," even though he looks like he's really pale and sick and whatever. And then he gets the chance to bite her in the apartment complex, and then the zombieism spreads that way. And that's one way that it could possibly happen, but for the most part, like after the apocalypse hits, it's gonna get handled. It'll get handled by guns. I just thought that was kind of cool that they brought that up. Very cool. Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
There's another thing I actually want to talk about with zombies is that like nobody ever. I mean, and of course, I know this before somebody goes, actually, it's just a movie.
Actually.
But at the same time, it's like nobody really talks about like the massive influx of like flies. For example, like you even before you die, if you're starving to death, flies will start gathering around you because you're on the way out. So you're gonna have flies like planting eggs, spawning flurries of flies that will just like follow the zombie horde and like little by little pick them all apart. In some way.
Putrid flesh at that point.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that like the what's the word? Like the biological kind of like the germs, the good germs in your like stomach, that the bacteria. That's it.
There you go.
Would kind of like eat you from the inside. Like that's gonna, sorry to shit anybody up, but that's gonna happen when you die. So, if you're a zombie, it's gonna happen. So
I think this podcast is done after hearing that.
Yeah, sorry guys. All the alcohol in the world ain't gonna save you.
I will drown in rubbing alcohol. That's what I'll do.
Good idea. Then they won't get you. Then you'll survive.
I did it. I am the winner.
Go team.
Go team. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. But I haven't really been doing a lot of horror-related stuff, except for like dreading the fact that we had to watch this movie. But we'll get to that in a minute because Matt needs to say something.
Well, I know that Matt's been playing The Evil Within 2, so
I've only just
I've only just started playing The Evil Within, so
Yeah.
Tread lightly with spoilers like I did with The Ritual, please.
Yeah, I've been playing. I've been watching Stranger Things as well, but I've been me and my girlfriend have been siphoning it off because we don't want to finish it all in one go because we want to savor it for as long as possible. But Evil Within 2 is probably one of, if not the most frustrating game I've played all year.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I really want to like it, and at times I really like it, and at times I really fucking hate it, and it makes me want to throw the disc out of the window.
Okay. People have been saying it's better than the first one, and I've been playing the first one. The first one is kind of annoying with moments of brilliance occasionally spaced out.
Yeah, this is the same. Where you're like, oh, that was really cool, and you just go, oh, for fuck's sake. Basically, it's basically the same. I had one evening where there was a really cool section where it was really atmospheric. It was creepy. I was on edge. The ambient sound was really cool. The environment looked great, and I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. It was really, really cool, really interesting. Mm-hmm. And then it finished, and then it went back to how the game plays. And it's not scary. It's not.
Well, like the thing about things not being scary, that's what is the word, subjective or objective or whatever? Like subjective. To the person, subjective to the person who's playing the game. And you, Matt, you've seen some shit, so I don't really know if things can scare you anymore. As far as like horror movies, like you've watched all those Italian zombie horror flicks, and you're compared to me, you're like a veteran in the horror thing, and I'm sort of a newbie. So there isn't a whole lot I would think that would like really like intensely scare you because you'd be desensitized to it, right?
Well, the thing is that there's some really, what I mean is that the creepy stuff's really creepy and unsettling, and then when the game's trying to be scary, it just kind of fails. so it can build up really well, and then you just have monsters that go. Like seriously, they say, it was like I made a joke when I was live streaming. It was like, meanwhile at the Arnold Schwarzenegger convention, they were just literally going. So yeah, pretty much. So you immediately go into an area and you go, "Oh, cool, that's an enemy I can kill."
Yeah.
And it has.
I can compare it, I think, to Silent Hill 4's nurses.
Oh my god.
Like you hit them and they burp.
Yeah, like they look great, they look creepy, and then you hit them, and then immediately it's like, well, there goes all the atmosphere and the tone, and everything's just flown out the window because I'm hitting something that's belching.
Yeah. Did you ever kill one and then like have it like go down the stairs? Like its corpse slide down the stairs. And it's like all the way down. And it's like, well, like I would be afraid of that, but now I'm laughing at it. So
yeah, you're like, hi, you're a dickhead. They're like, stop laughing, it's so funny.
I've got flatulence problems.
Pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of similar to that where it builds stuff up really well. But then kind of falls on its face a few times. It does this weird thing where it tends to almost, at times, punish you for exploration.
Oh, I hate that.
Really?
It's almost like, hey, you found some ammo. Now you've got to bypass a strange, spooky maze.
Yeah.
And you like, cool, you found a room where you got some pistol ammo. Oh, you can't get out, can you? Because now you got to hide from a thing that can kill you in one hit, and you can't shoot.
It's like the opposite of Mario. It's like, oh, look in this cool thing. Oh, I found a moon. It's like, oh, look in this cool thing. Shit, you're trapped.
Also, the main character is still a complete moron.
Why? God damn it.
he had like, there's this whole thing like without spoiling where he's like, if only I'd listened to my early in the game. He's like, if only I'd listened to my wife, she was right. Damn it. Because I think it's like implied that his wife's dead or something. I can't remember if that's in the first one or not, but it's implied.
It's in the first one.
Yeah, and at one point he like all these TVs turn on. It's like, oh, static. That's scary because static. And then he sees like a shadow projection of him talking to his wife, like a memory, and he's like, why am I seeing this? I don't understand. I just sat there and said, it's because you're feeling guilt. You're an idiot. You're a detective. Why can you not figure this out? Why am I seeing this now? Yeah. And then a few scenes later, he goes, I should have listened to her. She was right. He's not a very good detective.
Detective Grimdark, I see. Man,
he's got a stupid name.
Like, that's the thing I didn't like about the first one, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, Tom, because I don't remember much, but...
No, I don't.
For the most part, like, I mean, you're going to still play the game, and I encourage you to, because I think the game itself is still a good successor to the idea of Resident Evil 4, where you're like on your own and you have to do your aiming and you have to do your careful planning and shooting and stuff. So like there's that reason to continue playing it. But like the parts that I was actually interested in was whenever you picked up like a note or a notepad or a piece of paper that gave you more of the case file, and I just kind of expected that to go somewhere, and then actually kind of doesn't. And it's never. It's one of those things where it's like there are two roads of the story, and you have the notes taking you down one path, and you have your main character taking you down a completely separate and boring path. So by the time you get to the end of the game, you're like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? And then they release DLC.
Yeah.
And they release DLC of a character who doesn't have any plot exploration whatsoever in the first game, and it continues, from what I hear, to not have any plot exploration in her own DLC. So it's like, okay. I mean, like they're like hitting the nails around the head.
I feel like it's a running theme though, because like at the start, I'm only like about 2 or 3 hours into the game, so I'm at this bit where I'm basically, I just got past this bit where I was sneaking around the ruins at night in the grass trying to avoid people.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
So like, the first thing that happens, like. So I was on board with it because they pulled up at this building and they said like some shit's gone down, we're going to check it out. And the squad were like a little bit kind of like too anime for my taste. Like there's the guy in the back with the glasses and everything.
Constantly adjusting them, pushing them on his face.
But I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. Then I get knocked out. Then I run from a monster. Then I escape the building in a car, and then the whole fucking city destroys. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I'm
Get used
glad
to that
that's like a
feeling.
constant theme.
It's frustrating in that manner because it does so much where you go, wow, this is really creepy and really horrifying. This is like really good creepy horror, and then it's just like action schlock, and you're like, what am I playing? Pick a fucking, just pick something and stick to it.
Yeah, pick
Yeah.
a genre.
Yeah, it's not got its own identity. That's the
It really
problem
doesn't.
because it wants to be Silent Hill. It wants to be Resident Evil 4. It wants to be a stealth horror game. There's a bit in the second one where you have to put a gas mask on, and all of a sudden it forces you to play the game in first person.
Oh, okay.
But the controls don't work in first person because you can still control the game the same way. It's weird. But when
I'd
like
love
you
that there's
saying-
no like story reason for that. Like suddenly he forgets how to walk.
No, exactly. Like you were saying, Chris, about the notes, and the notes were really disappointing. They're the same in this, where you're like, oh, cool, like, oh, there's an email on the computer, and it's like, we have to do the thing because there's we have to make sure that the town is ready to, and we have to, a dossier. This could be interesting. The core is the thing. We have to make sure the thing is. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, fuck's sake. Like I think I've had a couple which are quite interesting. Like there was like a newspaper article about a serial killer, and that was at the part where I said that the other night where it was really good. But then like every other document just seems to be so boring. Just like I'm live streaming this, just going, oh cool, blah 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 blah, boring, pointless, has no impact on the plot, doesn't actually build anything. Okay, yeah, that's just close. I just like skim read most of them because they're just boring. It's it's literally like reading an email. It'd be like going if I went to work tomorrow and just read a random email chain between people. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is boring. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, they'll never be able to top Resident Evil 1's for Itchy Tasty. You know? Like, that's something that I will always remember. That's like the number one that's like prime note right there. Because you have like 3 pages of like a degenerative mind, like going from human to zombie, and he's still taking notes as a zombie. For Itchy Tasty.
I was like, Scott came, ugly face, so killed him.
Yeah.
Ugly face. But yeah, I mean, in survival horror games, the notes you find are supposed to be world building. They're supposed to, they're supposed to add like flavor to it. Like even in Resident Evil 2 and 3, you read like when you get to the police station in 2, you're reading like not a deputy, but like a lower rank officer, and you're reading like how they've barricaded and there's only like 10 of them left, and your mind starts to put it all together, and you're like, wow, what the fuck happened? Like they were like fighting for their lives, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
because
it really
you've missed
is.
all this.
Yeah.
But then without hitting you over the head with it, it gives you just enough so you can kind of piece together the events yourself. And I like that. It's like in the weird creepy shit you find in Silent Hill. All the Silent Hill games is always creepy, weird creepy shit. Like the infamous one in 2 is there's a hole here, it's gone now.
I love that.
Which is so creepy. Or the one where you find you go into a small little shop, and there's I think it might be the same one. You have to go back there with with the torch, and there's just like a map on the wall, and it's just saying, it's all written in blood again, just saying, this is your fault, you know what you did. And you're like, what's going on? I'm scared.
Yeah, it unsettles you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Silent Hill, actually, because I was just thinking there are other classic notes in survival horror beyond the one in Resident Evil 1, and one that I remember specifically in Silent Hill 3, and one that I like a lot was that note before you're in this like the sewer system or something, like some other waterway or whatever, and you read that note from a worker there who said that a monster took his buddy. And he told his foreman, and they're like, well, I guess he was drunk or something, and he just fell in. But he knows the guy wasn't drunk, and he's the only one who believes himself, so he's going to have to go in there and avenge his buddy. So he gets his knife, and he's going to go in there and kill that thing. And what that sets up is that you can't cross that bridge either, because it will fucking kill you. And it does, unless you like throw a hairdryer plugged into the water and shock it to death first. But it's like, it's the only warning you get before you get an insta-death. And I like if you're like me, I ignore the fucking warning, because it's like, this is a video game and that's just there for ambience. I'm not worried. Oh,
I got a shotgun. I'm fine.
Yeah, And I love that stuff because it's like punctuated with the actual event as well.
Yeah.
Like it sets it up and then it punctuates it.
There's one, I can't remember if it's in Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 2, but it's you're out in the town and you're running up the road, and I think you come to the end of the road or the end of like a street or something, and there's like a piece of paper and it says like they're all dropped papers, and you move along them like reading them in sequence, like as they've been dropped on the floor, and I think one of them says like run away, and then you run to the next piece of paper and it's just run away, run away, run away, run away, like written loads of times.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's Silent Hill.
I think that's Silent Hill 2.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it could be. Because it's that, I think 2 in particular, I might be wrong, but 2 in particular always felt like the one where there was the most little hidden creepy stuff. Whereas 3, the more memorable creepy stuff is like when you get locked in the room and it starts to fill up, the mirror starts to fill up with blood, like the reflection.
Yeah.
And you got and the stuff like when you climb in and you've got Valtiel turning the valve pipe, the valves and all that. Yeah. But 2 always felt like there was the most freedoms, like just there's loads of weird shit out there. You might not even find it.
Yeah.
You read it and it creeps you. It really freaks you out.
Oh, and just for the fact fans, that is Silent Hill 2, and it's on Neely Street.
Neely Street. I might actually be coming up to Neely Street. That part actually with Neely Street.
It says here as well, apparently the notes are later referenced in another note in Silent Hill Homecoming. So that just goes to show, like, they're kind of so memorable that, the people who are trying to ape, like, Team Silent's original stuff, like, used it.
Yeah, and we've already said it before, but Silent Hill 2, like, really does still hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I mentioned before, the sound design alone it's so far ahead of its time. Like, I mean, I'm talking like, I think maybe in the Resident Evil series they did it, but not to like the degree I think Silent Hill did it, where if you're running on different textured floors, you can hear different sounds. But I remember in Silent Hill 2, this being very specific. Like, there's a puddle, and if you put your right foot on that puddle, it'll go splash, and you'll hear a splash sound. If you have your left foot outside that puddle, you don't hear the splash sound. In fact, if your right foot goes over the puddle, you don't hear the splash sound at all. And so it's like, in this sort of universe, they actually went there and programmed that area to have a splash sound for no real reason. That's so like cool. An extra 20 minutes of development time, that they didn't have to take.
It's like when the soundtrack just randomly all of a sudden starts to really ramp up and there's all the banging of the drums. Like, I think we were in the hospital because I'm replaying him again with my partner, and it's the music started to get really loud, and she was just sat there screaming, "Why is it loud? What's going on?"
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. I found the message on the wall in one of the environments. It's in Needy's bar, but you have to go back there with the flashlight later on, and it's all written in blood, and it just says, "If you really want to see Mary, you should just die."
Oh yes.
But you might be heading to a different place than Mary, James.
Nice.
I love it. And I love it.
Yeah.
Nothing away.
Yes.
It's great. And you're just like, what are they talking about? What does it mean?
Yeah, because it's hard to imagine a world where I didn't know the twist to Silent Hill 2, but for like anyone who doesn't know, that's just like, what the fuck is it talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Man, I just
so cool.
Talking about all this. I'm not saying I want to go back and play those games again, but I do eventually, like if I have a bunch of free time. But for the most part, it's like I feel like I'm going home again. Like those games were like so good, so ambient, so well set up, designed. I mean, there's bugs I'm sure speedrunners found, but for the most part, like it was glitch free in my opinion when you play casually, and like they don't make them like that anymore. I hate sounding old as fuck, but they really don't make them like that anymore.
It's one of those games that I love a horror game in particular that benefits from playing it through again, because it's not until you play it again that a lot of the really creepy stuff starts to make sense, like the dead body in front of the TV with the gunshot wound.
Yes.
It makes so much sense when you realise that's James.
Yeah, for the longest time, I still feel a bit uncomfortable. At the start of the game, when you're you come out of the toilet and you have that cutscene or whatever, and then you walk past your car, because like in my head, like I fell in love with the fan theory that basically Mary's in the trunk, because the fact that he kind of like has her body in one of the endings as well.
Yeah,
like, it's sort of like basically she's in the trunk. It's like she's right there.
Yeah, and that's a good example of a fan theory that's fun, not a stupid fan theory. Like Ned Stark's still alive, something like that.
Wow.
That's a fun one where you just, oh yeah, the Ned Stark's still alive one is hilarious. But yeah, I love that one because it does give the idea of what if she is in there? Oh fuck, what if she's actually in there?
Like you go through all of that Silent Hill shit, and it's like you caused it. She's still in there. Like that's like it's so creepy because it's like he did it and then he forgot.
Yeah.
Like that's like some true psychosis. Like it's not like he's a total murderer or a bad person. It's just that he did it. He didn't want to have done it, and now he'll just pretend he never did it. And as long as it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And then I got this weird letter from my wife. It's blank.
I mean,
that's one of my favorite things.
that's one of the best moments in that game, definitely.
I don't remember them really bringing that much attention to it either. It wasn't until I remember the first time I realised. I think maybe he mentions it in one of the endings, but I can't remember what I was doing when I was in the hotel right at the end, and I was just going through my inventory, and I went past the letter. I was like, that doesn't look right. And I moved back. I went to read it, and it was just blank.
I can't remember exactly when it happens, but does it happen when you get to the hotel or like far into the hotel?
I think it's once you get into the hotel, words start to disappear.
It. Yeah,
it's a progressive
there's
thing.
a moment in the hotel. There's one puzzle, and you remember the lift where you have to like literally take out everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that might have been
hell.
like where you notice.
Yes. I think you're right. Yeah, that's probably where I noticed. And again, they put that there, and it's very subtle because not everyone's going to notice it.
Super subtle.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. But now everything has to be in your face.
Everything has to be
everything
brain
is
dead
like-
now.
Yeah, no offense to Korn, but everything's like a Korn theme tune. Like
Generic.
Yeah.
Generic and unwelcome.
But I'm pretty sure they did this. They did the song for Downpour.
They
I'm pretty
did.
Sure.
I looped it a
Did
few
do something.
times. I like it enough, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
I don't mind Korn. I mind Korn plus Silent Hill.
yeah.
It's
It's a
a
bit
strange
strange.
combination.
Yeah, it doesn't really carry the same notes. Pun intended. Like you just don't have that ambient horror when it's like being shouted at you and banged on drums and stuff.
Yeah.
This
There
is a
were moments in
harvest song.
Downpour as well that kind of, as far as I remember, were okay. But it just reeked, like Homecoming of the kind of like it's just not the same. Although one thing I will link to in the description below, which was quite good, is my brother. He does this series of games called Beyond the Bounds. Videos on YouTube where he goes outside of the game boundaries to see the cool shit that's there.
Yes.
And
yes.
he's been really annoyed recently because there's this YouTuber blowing up who basically has the same format show.
Fuck.
And that guy's called Boundary Break. And yeah, sorry Matt, my brother, but that just reminded me of like, Matt, do you remember how long you've been my brother? But my brother, Matt. Yeah, I've been watching Boundary Break, and he did a Silent Hill 2 one, which was really good. He even kind of looked inside the car and proved that there's nothing there. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect them to have modelled Mary and put her in the car.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been.
Blew up the internet if that happened.
But it was a really good episode, so I recommend that, especially if you're like me, and Chris, back in the Silent Hill forum days, people were... I bought the Silent Hill 2 PC version just to try and get the camera hack to work, and I couldn't get it to work. And nowadays, people can fly around with no clip on, and it's just super easy. It's not fair.
Yeah.
But, he does all of that and takes a look at everything. It's really interesting, especially if you know the game back to front.
Yeah, I think one day I'd like to actually get all the PC versions of the games. I played the third one, Silent Hill 3, on PC for a little bit, and it was unusual because that was one of the few games that had such a high graphics fidelity. Like, you could really jack up the resolution in a time that didn't make that the industry standard. And I pushed it as far as I could go and tried to play it, but everything looked so hyper-realistic that I just couldn't get past the Lakeside Amusement Park. Things are fucking scary, man. It's like,
No, I'm good.
Yeah. I remember what this was like. That's all I needed. I'm done now. But you guys missed it last time when I said that everything they make now, it seems like it's brain dead.
Oh boy, yeah, I did miss you. Sorry.
I really hate that we have to go away from the good talk of Silent Hill And since we're 45
No, we
minutes
don't have
in,
to. We can just stay here, nestled in the snug comfort of Silent Hill. It's fine.
I am legit thinking about hugging my pillow right now because it's just like I want to hold something. Silent Hill was so good, and we have to go. Now we have to go to Braindead, Dead Alive. Almost said Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Well, I could see it as a sequel or a prequel even.
Yeah. No.
It makes more sense than the fucking giant wasps or bees or whatever.
Oh, right, yeah.
Than Sumerian rat monkey.
So, Tom, this is your fault.
Yes, I hold my hands up. This was my fault. Yeah, so, okay. I'll start off with just describing sort of how I came across Braindead / Dead Alive. I was basically super into Lord of the Rings when it came out, and obviously directed by Peter Jackson, and discovered that Peter Jackson actually had some films before Lord of the Rings. So I checked them out. I specifically checked out Bad Taste, which is his first film that he shot entirely on 16mm camera. He got like bought by his parents, so he was like fairly young, and it is kind of like it reeks of kind of student-y film, but it's Bad Taste is interesting. We'll maybe someday we'll get to that one. Yeah. And it kind of like for the first couple of films of his career, they were really kind of like I guess like splatter films. They're like over the top, kind of like zany horror. Bad Taste, I think, deals with aliens. His following film, Meet the Feebles, is a great film. See, the thing is, when I was thinking about recommending Braindead, like they're tiered in my head. Bad Taste I remember as being not too bad. Braindead I remember as being worse. Meet the Feebles is at the top. So I'm not sure if I would ever recommend Meet the Feebles now that I've watched Braindead and kind of like gone, ooh, some of this is good and some of this is cringy, like that I've recommended it. So maybe I will never mention Meet the Feebles again after this podcast. But Meet the Feebles was like a kind of like a Muppets Gone Wrong thing where he basically, it was like Muppets Behind the Stage where they're all taking drugs and sleeping with each other, and there's like mob bosses and stuff. And it's it's the only film I know of that's got an animated, like a puppet fox singing a song about sodomy. So that gives you kind of like a flavor of what it's like. You can hunt it down.
Sodomy flavor?
Yeah.
Nom, nom, nom.
There's
just
also
like Mom used to make.
Yeah. There's
Makes
also
me
an
nostalgic.
iguana suffering from PTSD from Vietnam.
Yes.
He's also a heroin addict. There's a walrus that's an elephant that's consistently denying the parentage of a love child with a chicken. They're kind of like there's a Miss Piggy like alternative who's a hippo who's like the star of the show, and she has very low self-esteem because her husband is constantly cheating on her with a Siamese cat, like things like that basically.
I mean,
So,
really,
by
a
the-
Siamese cat though. I mean, who wouldn't, right?
I know.
Like if I was to choose
sexy,
a cat,
sexy as fuck. Like if you're gonna go for a cat, yeah.
Yeah.
like there's two of them,
Say
right?
that again. Like in the Aristocats. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, so let's move on from Meet the Feebles. So he then went on to make Braindead. Now, it looks as though with Braindead, someone just gave him a load of money and said, do what you want.
They said, "Do your worst." Is what they said.
Yeah, do your worst. And Braindead essentially is like a visual effects, practical visual effects demonstration film wrapped up in a kind of zany slapstick, over-the-top splatter horror. And so, yeah, I came across Braindead. I watched it. I thought it was amazing because it has a lot of like memorable moments. And yeah, that was when I was about like 16, 17. Like, I was young when I watched this film.
There's no appropriate age for this film.
Yeah.
It's just nothing. Nothing can redeem. Oh, you should have seen it when you were older. Then you would have understood. No, that's not true at all. Seeing it at 17 probably was the best possible way to watch it.
Yeah, because I was kind of like I was a bit more of a gore hound then than I am now. I've kind of mellowed out a bit in my old age.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying. It's like I've known you as a gore hound for 20 years, and it's time you put it down, man. Simmer down.
Yeah.
Chill out. Shit. I'm just gonna say, like, like what you said, they gave Peter Jackson a fuck ton of money, and they said, "Do your worst," and Peter Jackson was just like, and he like cranks a lever like Dr. Frankenstein, and then this shit comes out. I don't know Peter Jackson anymore.
What I really like is that this obviously produced by his Wingnut Productions, but also like co-directed / produced by him and his wife, and like they've done that for like all of the movies I think that they've been married. I mean, including Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So yeah, it's kind of like a testament, I guess, if you find someone who kind of like says, "Yes, honey, this movie about like zombies fucking is great. Let's make it." You kind of know they're the ones.
Yeah, you marry that one. You marry that one, or you run away from that one.
Yeah.
Really depends on who you are. The thing, you keep bringing up Lord of the Rings, and for obvious reasons. And I when I watched this movie, I started seeing Lord of the Rings in this movie, right?
Yeah, and King Kong as well. I mean, a lot of like, King Kong.
Like he loves those up close in your face shots, those close ups. And like in Lord of the Rings, it happens when the Steward of Gondor is eating dinner for some reason. Like they want him to like eat a cherry, it's a cherry tomato or something like that, and it splurts out of his mouth. Right onto the plate like that. It's like, why is that even on camera? Stop that shit. But he did that there, and then like in the third movie when he had Gollum eat a fish before he was like fully transformed into Gollum, he ate that fish like right up into the camera, like you know, and like this kind of stuff was happening in Lord of the Rings. So I started like thinking, oh well, that's just Peter Jackson then, and he's been doing it forever. Maybe I'll enjoy this film. Like I was okay with it, like with the whole Paquita thing. I think she was charming and fun, and she was like the only person who I would even consider to be like kind of the hero, sorta, except for, you know, of course, obviously the guy's supposed to be the hero, but he's such a loser, such a like a wuss, such a like he can't take care of himself, even though he has to take care of everyone else. Kind of person that you don't identify with him. And I know Peter Jackson wasn't like, I need to make an identifiable hero, this is the best way to do it. He wasn't doing that. He was definitely making like the practical effects extravaganza. That's like the best, most positive way to actually describe this movie. Like if you wanted to watch what he could do in any situation, watching this movie is almost like a resume for him. You know, like check out this practical effects thing that I do. Yeah, see how I made that happen? I can do that kind of stuff. If you want me to do things like that, hire me. You know, that's like the only way to look at this movie positively. Beyond that, like as a piece of entertainment, I don't know. Like I would say maybe if I was drunk, but then I'd probably be more inclined to throw up. Certainly not over dinner. And certainly not with anyone who I want to keep as a friend.
Yes, I will say now, for anyone who hasn't seen the film, for anyone who has seen the film, I apologize. For anyone who hasn't seen the film, this is a very kind of like grisly affair. It's essentially a zombie film, although it's more kind of like a. It is a zombie film, but it's more just kind of like undead. Like magical undead rather than kind of like, because there are a couple of times where like conventional zombies I think would have been destroyed somehow.
Yeah.
But no. And yeah, well, it's about this guy called Lionel.
Lionel.
He's Mummy's boy.
Yeah, he's whipped.
Yeah, and he loves his mum and wants to look after her, and she is a bitch, a manipulative bitch.
She's very good at it as well.
Yeah, she is. And like watching this again, there were so many like nice touches I noticed, like in terms of like Lionel even using the fact that he's a mummy's boy to his advantage, like because skipping ahead a little bit, at his mother's funeral when he like leaps through the glass with her body. And like they're all looking at him, and then he just grabs her and pretends like he's crying. It's like, oh mom, like, and they're like, oh, he's just showing grief, and he's really really fucked up. Because that's better than them finding out that she's a zombie.
Well, it's like I know it's in the it's further into the plot, but again, like to establish that he's a bit of a mummy's boy, that he knows his mum so well, he doesn't even know she's at the zoo watching them. Yeah. And when she gets bitten by the rat monkey, all anyone hears is just a woman screaming, and he just like jumps up and goes, "Mom!" and then runs off.
He knows her scream.
That's my mom.
I love the fact that sort of like as an English person, I'm gonna get Australian and New Zealand accents mixed up, but it's just there's something inherently funny. No offense about like a New Zealand / Australian accent to me. It's just kind of, it puts me in a good mood. So half the lines in this movie I don't think would have been as funny if they were with an English accent. It's the fact that it's delivered with that kind of like twang that just makes it really fun.
It certainly doesn't do New Zealand tourism industry any good, though.
Well, he made up with that.
I was just like, I guess he really did, considering the Lord of the Rings. But I was like, man, maybe I'll like visit. Like the beginning of the movie is rather pleasant. There isn't a whole lot of shit happening or hitting the fan, except for like the intro. I mean, after the intro, when you go into like setting up Lionel and Paquita and all that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, I wonder what it'd be like to visit New Zealand, you know? And then it's like, oh, is this the kind of movies they make? Fuck them. I'm out of here. Fuck this shit. I'm not watching.
Have you ever seen Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah, I know them. They're great. They're fantastic.
They're New Zealand. So like I think what did they describe it as? Just like, it's like farmland. It's just like all farmland.
Yeah.
Like sheep and fields.
Sounds good.
Pretty much.
Sounds peaceful.
Yeah.
Tasty.
It makes me wonder what Paquito's doing there, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I guess the uncle kind of points out the fact that she's not local because he's really creepy and weird. And
he was Mario.
What?
Oh, wait. You're talking about Uncle, like Lionel's uncle.
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lionel's uncle.
I was thinking more like her family, like the fortune teller grandmother and the old dude who was eating lunch and just being aggressive about it for whatever reason.
It's all bollocks.
Yeah, I was like, that looks like Mario. Of course, I was playing Mario Odyssey a lot, so maybe I just see Mario everywhere. Maybe he's not even in the movie. You guys think I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what character you're talking about.
Yeah.
Not character Mario, what are you doing? Ah!
Yeah. What are you doing in my movie?
Play me.
Mario Odyssey!
Yeah, it's my favorite thing at the moment to just go, Super Mario Odyssey!
Yeah, like Odyssey is such a weird word for him to say.
It is.
And as much as I'd rather talk about Mario, we need to go back to Braindead, though.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I
Okay,
know.
yeah.
So,
in 1957, there's some kind of explorer who's linked to New Zealand Zoo trying to capture a specimen for display, a Sumatran rat monkey, which he's trying to steal from Skull Island, which might be a hint that it's not a very nice place.
No.
I kind of like... Me and Keena got a real Dead Island vibe from this. Have you guys played Dead Island? Well, you have, Chris, obviously.
Okay, I was like, Tom, are you serious? We fucking played through it together.
Did you forget all those hours we played it?
Yeah, I am. I'm about to leave this podcast right now. You don't remember the time we shared.
But they have a whole thing with like a village and they're kind of like eating the bones and there's like, it reminded me of it. Kind of like the hills and everything. Looked very similar. I wouldn't be surprised if they took a little bit of influence from this.
If I may, you said that Skull Island doesn't sound like a good place for. Skull Island is actually the island from King Kong.
Yes, yeah, and it's like it is very King Kongy. In fact, you can see from his remake as well, kind of like looked a little bit like that in places. Also, sort of like with the hills and everything.
Yeah, I was looking up because I always do it every time I watch like a film like this. I always like get on the trivia on IMDb, and I looked up and the trivia was correct. In King Kong, there's he puts a reference to this in King Kong when Adrian Brody's in the in one of the rooms like with all the like the holding bay or whatever the fuck it is. It's got like all the storage and all that. There is the rat monkey cage that says Sumerian rat monkey beware of bite.
Nice.
So it's the Sumerian rat monkey is in King Kong.
That's neat. He's like, if nobody else cares about this movie I made, I do. Here's a reference.
I like it when directors put stuff like that from the previous movies in like a big budget Hollywood blockbuster. It's like, hey, I'm going to put something from Dead Alive or Braindead in there. Remember the red monkey?
Man, I just realized something because I know Peter Jackson did King Kong, and one of the things I didn't like about King Kong was that entire scene when the crew gets off the boat, they start exploring Skull Island, and like the bugs come out, and the bugs kill them, and they eat them in grotesque ways, and or stab them, and then they go like or whatever. I blacked out most of the memory because I just don't ever want to see that again. And I was like, man, what if he had done all that with practical effects instead of CGI?
That'd be even more horrifying. Like the bit I always remember from that is when Andy Serkis gets slowly devoured by worms.
Yeah, that's the part that I won't black out. Like everything else is blacked out, but that part I cannot fucking forget for the life of me. I will never watch that movie again for that reason alone. Even though it has that awesome scene with him like knocking out a couple of T-Rexes, that was great. But like,
yeah.
Anyway, Braindead.
I'm reading this trivia page. It's really cool, actually. The movie is said to be the bloodiest of all time, with over 300 liters of fake blood used in the final film, the final scene of the film, which is believable. Definitely believable.
They get a good
Sweden,
coating.
The rental places in Sweden, apparently it came with a supplemental vomit bag, which sounds like a marketing ploy.
That's what they did with Zombie Flesh Eaters when it was in the cinema. They had bath bags.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You said on the previous cast.
Mm.
I actually wish we would just watch Zombie Flesh Eaters again.
Great movie.
Like after this, I would love to watch anything Matt has to suggest. It can't be worse. It can't be.
Oh, let's see it.
All right. Well, let's get back to the plot. So,
let's actually start with the plot. How about that?
I started on the island. Remember,
Yeah.
I read that bit.
Okay.
So Lionel lives with his mother in a Victorian mansion. When he was a child, Lionel's father drowned trying to save him at the beach, supposedly in quotation marks. He meets Paquita, who believes that she's bound to fall in love with him because of her cool gran with the tarot cards. It's always grandma with tarot cards.
I love tarot cards.
And like
grandma.
I love grandma too. And they go out on a date to the zoo, which was, I was like, oh, it's like super cute.
It was cute, yeah. I like Paquita a lot. I was like, oh, she's so cute. Why is she in this movie?
But obviously they go to the zoo, and while they're there, they get a kind of an explanation from the keeper about this horrible specimen living there. And then while they're kind of away somewhere else, his mum, who's tailed them to the zoo, presumably to intervene and cause shit to happen, gets bitten by the monkey.
The rat monkey.
Yes, and so she becomes infected.
Can we go back to that zookeeper and how fucking creepy he was?
Oh yeah, super creepy.
Like, I don't remember a lot of what he said because I'm blacking it out as we talk about it, but I remember where he was like, I suspect that they feed on blood, probably virgin's blood or something like that. And it's like, dude, get out of my face. Who the fuck do you think you are? Get out of my face. I will kill you. I will throw you in that fucking cage. Get out of my face.
When it kills the monkey in the cell alongside it, pen. Fuck.
Yeah,
that's my kind of like animal activist coming out in the cell next to him.
Yeah.
He kind of runs over and he goes, "Poor little bugger."
Yeah.
That's another instance of where the accent just cracks me up.
Yeah.
God. But yeah, like that whole scene where this was it Sumatran or Sumerian? No, it's definitely not Sumerian. Conan would have nothing to do with that shit. Sumatran
wiki
rat
Sumatra.
monkey, comes out like it's all claymation, stop motion shit. I was like, really? I haven't seen this stuff since like, I don't know, a long time ago. And that's not important really, but I just hadn't seen like that kind of quality practical effect in a long time. And it's just a bastard though. Like it reaches through its pen to the neighboring pen with the nice monkeys who are having fun with apple cores and like just rips a leg off of one of the monkeys and just starts eating it.
Yeah.
Doesn't like punch it out first as well.
Yeah, he punches him
It's like,
first.
"Get fucked."
Like, give me your leg, I'm hungry.
Nah.
It's like, I'm not here with you, you're here with me. That kind of shit. Oh, God. And then the craziest bit, though, like with his mom, with Lionel's mom showing up and, like, I don't even remember what she did anymore, except for she just showed up and like she got close to the cage and got bit, but then she took care of that rat monkey. She took care of it with her fucking heel.
She did.
She took care of that
Double
shit.
tap.
Yeah, don't fuck with mom. She wasn't even crying or shocked. She was just like, oh, I got bit. Slowly kill this fucking thing with my heel till its eyes pop out. Do you see this shit? Don't fuck with me, Lionel. It's like, god damn it, this movie can't get any worse from here, right?
Oh boy.
Go on.
Strap yourself in. He goes home with her, and she is clearly very ill. But of course, the WLWL are coming, and she's got to keep up appearances.
Oh fuck me.
And this is probably like it's weird, isn't it? Because the whole movie is icky, but this is the most ickiest scene to me, like far and away. Yeah, no, I can't stand people messing with food. It's upsetting.
I know, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
go on.
Yeah. You're
This
going to
is
make me describe the whole thing.
This is your fault.
This is your movie, man.
Yeah, so she's kind of, trying to keep up appearances and repeating things over and over again, which is really creepy.
Oh wait, before that.
I loved
though,
the husband here.
Before that, though, like she had all those sores on her face. She's bedridden. She wasn't even supposed to get out of bed, and then like her fucking skin starts coming off, and they use glue to put it back together. And he's like, it's hard to notice, kind of face on him, like I think we're doing okay. And then he basically like drags her down and sets her at the dining room table, and they just try to pretend to ignore all of the things falling off of her during dinner.
Yeah, and the fact that she's like clinking her cutlery, and I can't remember what it is that she's was repeating over and over again, but she just kept repeating it for like a minute.
Or something like that. I do like the fact that when she's upstairs desperately trying to get ready and she accidentally like tears part of her skin off, her reaction is just, oh.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hard one right here. Get the glue. I was like, the glue? What the fuck? But yeah, he got the glue and put it right back on her. And she was like using all the makeup to kill. Oh god. Anyway, sorry, Matt.
No, it's fine. But I think we should let Tom explain.
Yeah, I'm sorry to everyone.
That
really.
Is about to.
Yeah. So
go on, word for word, details. What happened, Tom?
Well, we'd already established in the previous scene that her wound is leaking some sort of pus or liquid.
What do you think it tastes like, Tom?
Strawberry jam.
Barbecue sauce.
This is why I love that. Like I said, I love the husband in that scene of the lady who's come to visit. He's just like so enthusiastic and like, it's what I love is the zaniness of this movie, because I think like the first thing the character said that just made me like burst out laughing was he's like, "What we need is a good war." Like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ,
simmer down, man.
Yeah, it's a similar thing with the vet later on as well. It's kind of like the guy from
Return of the Living Dead. Yeah,
but no. Turned up to 9.
Yeah, turned up to like 11.
I was left here and I cannot return to Latvia.
Yeah.
Fucking swastika exposed from his lab coat.
Oh god. Yeah. So anyway, basically, bits of mum start to fall off, including her ear, which lands in her own custard, and she then proceeds to eat it, and you can hear every exquisite crunch. I think this is the point where Kina pieced out and said that she was not watching the film anymore, and I was like, fair enough.
Well, you forgot another part where like some of her ooze like ejected from her arm and landed.
Yeah, you asked me what that tasted like, and I said strawberry jam. We covered this.
Oh no, we didn't cover the
didn't
action.
Explain what happened.
Yeah, I want all the details, buddy. Come on.
Look, everyone listening to this has watched the film because they listen to our warnings and they take us at our words.
If they listened to our warning, they wouldn't watch the film. Anyway, like bits of mom juice squeezes out of her arm and lands in the other dude's custard, and he just loves it. He just eats it up. Oh, and he mentioned something specific about the recipe or something. And
yeah,
it's not much of a spoiler. Who gives a shit? He doesn't turn into a zombie. That pissed me off.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we don't see him again, but presumably, yeah, he's fine. So
yeah, bit odd.
Iron stomach, that one.
Yeah.
It's because you won a good war.
Although, don't even get me started on how hygienic it is to embrace and kiss lovingly after you've been doused in liters of blood.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I guess they'd got rid of all the kind of oppression and dark forces by that point, so they figured they were fine.
Yeah, they're good. They're clean now. This house is clean. Anyway, straying off topic. So yeah, Mom eats her own ear from her custard because she doesn't notice that she's eating her own ear because she's turning into a zombie. And you can hear the crunching and the cartilage, and you hear the earring being chewed up because it's still on the ear. And that scares the shit out of everyone there except for the dude who just loved that custard so much. He wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah.
You know?
She never makes me custard at home. I need no war.
Want to kill some people.
And so things get worse from there. She proceeds to essentially kind of die. He gets the nurse over. Oh, before that, of course, she eats Paquita's dog.
There's a great line though after she realizes that she ate her dog.
Yeah.
So your mother ate my dog. Well, not all of it.
Yeah.
As he pulls the tail out.
Pulls the tail out slowly. Like there's like 9 feet of tail coming out of Mom's throat. I was like, how much did she? What? Like the dog went upstairs. Did she just swallow it whole? That's not possible. This is fucking stupid.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
And
we have to heal for a second. Hold on. All right, now go.
That's better. Good. Calming breathing. Okay. So, of course, the nurse comes over and then becomes infected, and it then becomes Lionel's mission to keep the zombies in the basement, essentially, and make sure that no one finds out what's actually going on. We attend the funeral, which, as I mentioned, oh, by the way, that scene where the embalmer is
Yeah.
the guy with him is Peter Jackson, so I definitely recognised him because he's got that kind of crazy look going on.
I did not recognize him because he wasn't as fat as I've seen him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a young Peter Jackson.
Yeah. Before he ate everybody.
Maybe that's what this movie's actually about.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for
him consuming everyone that worked on the movie.
Consuming everyone that worked on the movie.
I ate them all.
He offers them exorbitant funds, and they just can't turn down these awesome job offers. And then at the end, he just eats them entirely, like the Thing. He splits apart. He's all teeth, and just swallows them whole.
Yeah, you're all part of the Peter Jackson collective.
Yeah, I need to make a movie with a lot of extras. Extras no one's gonna miss, you know?
They weren't actually special effects in the movie.
Yeah, that's true. It all just really
It's all
happened.
just real.
Yeah, it all just really happened.
That's a normal weekend at the Jackson house.
Yeah. You forgot the nurse, though, Tom, I think. Wasn't the nurse trying to, she called for the ambulance or whatever, but didn't she, get killed by Mom before the funeral?
Yeah, I said she got zombified. So essentially, was that the point where she put her fingers through the nurse's face?
Yeah.
Yes, and in a really good effect as well, where they do it a few times where they do very quick cuts.
Yeah.
To replace real person with body prosthetic or dummy. And most of the time, I mean, when you watch it, you can kind of tell the cuts there, but it happens so quick and so seamlessly at times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed a couple. There's one later on where the baby pulls his way through someone's face, and you can very clearly see the cut. But it's still kind of this was the early 90s. I mean, even if they had the budget, they wouldn't have been able to do CGI. I mean, that was still kind of Jurassic Park was only just happening and stuff. So
yeah, well, the best one is we'll get there later. Is the fist through the back of the head? That's the best one.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah, that's a really really good shot.
Who is it? Who gets killed?
It's right near one of the guests. She's holding, she's screaming. She's got hands on her face, and then it does a quick cut, and someone's hand slams through the back of her head, out through her mouth, and it just looks fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so funeral.
Yes.
Let's put the fun in the funeral. Come on.
Yay.
Real fun. Yeah, so the funeral, of course, is where we get introduced to a lot of secondary characters who will be a bit important later. We meet the uncle, who is sleazy and nasty, kind of like just out for the money. We meet the priest, who I can't even remember if he had a name. Father
Kick-Ass.
Magruder.
Magruder, that's it.
Magruder. Father Ted.
Yeah, essentially the only thing I was thinking was Father Ted. I think it's the fact he's got white hair and he kind of looks a little bit like him. It's just kind of hard not to see it.
It's weird, isn't it? Badass Father Ted.
Yeah. Because immediately after the funeral, I mean, Lionel is going to attempt to dig his mother up to bring her back home because he knows, of course, that she's only tranquilized for the moment.
Yeah, and she's going to get out.
And then we're kind of like treated to these guys in the graveyard who are kind of like bullies. And
greasers, aren't they?
Yeah. And he pisses on his mother's grave and he goes, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's like
some of all those lines. And I love the fact that, so essentially Lionel's mother reaches up, grabs the guy's dick and pulls him down. And that effect is quite cool, where he's like essentially kind of like, I can't believe I'm saying these words, but they're coming out of my mouth. Kind of like fucked to death by the grave.
Yay.
Yeah, did you not see that bit? Oh, okay. My wife had successfully looked away by this point and not watching the movie anymore.
Wisely, I might add.
Yeah, quite wisely. And the blood is kind of like spurting out everywhere. That was a really kind of like fun effect to behold. And the other two guys, like one get away, and the other, like two of them become zombies, don't they?
Yeah, two of them definitely became zombies.
Yeah.
One of them might get away, or one of them's devoured. I can't remember.
Yeah, I loved those shots of them getting up, like following their face from the ground upwards. That's very kind of Peter Jackson-y thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like the, where's the ring? Is it secret? Is it safe? That kind of like claustrophobic, kind of like cool action shots. I think I did. Yeah, I either did an essay or a project or something on Peter Jackson in college because we were discussing auteur theory, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's essentially that kind of like, even though you have hundreds of people working on films, the director kind of like has flair that is noticeable and recognizable. I mean, so people posit it's a theory, but it's fair to say that, it's basically a thing that exists.
It is a thing.
Like, say, for instance, Stanley Kubrick. There are kind of things he does in all of his movies that you can kind of like draw a parallel. So
like Sam Raimi.
Yeah, exactly, Sam Raimi, which is kind of like quite a lot like this. I think he might have derived some kind of inspiration from this, because Peter Jackson from Sam Raimi, because I think that was first. But yeah. So they're definitely kind of like things that you'll see in, like you were saying, Chris, things in Lord of the Rings that kind of like, I can see a little bit of something he used to do in his weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. And then, of course, yes, I mean, as Matt said last week, this is the point where we're introduced to Father Magruder as the ass-kicking priest.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Kick ass for the Lord.
Yeah, now when you describe this movie to people, this is one of the the most memorable things you can kind of like say. It's like, oh yeah, there's a priest who knows kung fu.
It's great. Love it.
It is great, and that scene as well like goes on for a while. Like you can tell they kind of like hired a guy who's really good at martial arts, put him in a wig and like a father uniform, church clothes, whatever they're called, robes, and essentially gone, right, okay, can you just do like loads of kicks and punches, things, please? Sweep kicks, drop punches, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know kung fu so good. He did the fighty things with the hands and the kicking.
He did that thing with his feet.
Yeah.
Made he go whoosh, whoosh,
Yeah,
whoosh.
he did the thing like Krang does in Tekken, where he kind of like stays up in the air and like kicks just his shin out over and over again.
Yeah.
God damn it, Juan.
Wow.
I love playing
my main
him.
Krang.
He's so much fun.
He's my main.
He's easy to play. You just mash the kick buttons until you win.
That's exactly why he's my main.
He's also got
I don't
insane
play fighting
combos
games.
as
I
well.
button mash.
Yeah.
He's actually got insane combos as well. If you pull them off, they're fucking ridiculous.
I lean more towards, like in Tekken, I lean more towards characters who just hit you once and knock you on your back, and then I just wait for you to get back up. and then if you come at me, I'll just read what you're doing and then hit you again, and you fall on your ass, and I do that until I win.
It's kind of like teaching a lesson, like, no, back down you go.
Yeah, basically. I think his name was Miguel. He has like dark hair, like it's sort of wavy, and he has an open shirt with like lots of gold chains and just big arms and like a chain, like an actual chain around his wrist. And you can press a button where he goes, ha 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 ha, he starts laughing and rolling his shoulder a bit, and it takes about 5 seconds. But if you go the full 5 seconds and your opponent for whatever reason doesn't attack you, you can press the punch button and do a 1-hit knockout. He just but he walks forward while he's doing it. He's like, ha 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 ha, like I'm gonna knock you out. Boom, dead. Like,
Jesus.
Fuck yes, I love Miguel. And I'd love to talk more about Miguel in this movie, but
God damn it, Miguel.
like Miguel could have handled the zombie problem. I'm just saying, he could have handled the whole zombie problem, no problem.
Neat. Someone needs to write that fan fiction.
Miguel versus Braindead. Shit.
It's a weird movie.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Just like this movie is weird.
Just him versus the movie, just him punching the movie. Like, this isn't what I expected.
This is him punching out the whole movie. Oh man! Like the thing, we're getting halfway through the movie. I'm just going to go and interject a point. The thing that I didn't like about this movie was that there wasn't really a hero. The guy you're following up to this point is supposed to be the hero, but he just makes things worse. And he could not make things worse by showing actual fear for the problem and not fear for the way people would perceive the problem. You know?
Yeah.
And I know.
Although I think that's where the humor is derived, is that it's kind of like, you know, extreme social situations and the weirdness, and trying to keep it hush hush is kind of like I don't know if it's a New Zealand thing, but it's a very English thing to do. And I think, you know, sort of like some was New Zealand still like a principle of our, like, going back to empire, like, for a while? Like, I'm pretty sure, because Bad Taste opens with a shot of the Queen, and I believe, like, all of the films, like, New Zealand made had to, like, open with a shot of the Queen or something at some point.
Really?
This one definitely opened with a shot of the Queen. On YouTube.
There you go.
On YouTube, anyway.
There,
So.
and there's also a thing in the movie, I can't remember where it happens, but there's a portrait of the Queen, and he turns it over so it doesn't get covered in blood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what that was. All right, cool.
So I think they kind of, you know, this is hugely kind of like far-ranging thing to say, but I get the sense that New Zealand, at least at that time, was kind of like, it had a very British kind of sense of humour maybe, and of like society, and, you know, kind of like, oh, we don't talk about things, you know, and we kind of like, it's all about keeping up with the Joneses. So, you know, the mother is obsessed with the WL and becoming, like, you know, social standing and everything.
Yeah.
So like the kind of, I totally get what you're saying, and until like literally halfway through the final showdown, before he finally kind of like steps up, Lionel is kind of like a weakling and kind of like, it's just like, oh, this is a bad decision. But I think it's, you know, I think there's humor there for definite, as much as it is annoying as well. Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
How dare you?
Where's Chris?
Hi, how's it going?
Chris.
Oh, and when you said interrupted you, Chris, I didn't know you meant me. But yeah, so it's like that was the annoying part, because you're being dragged along for like an hour and a half of this movie without anyone to really relate or attach to, except for Paquita, who doesn't, like, she's just innocent, you know, like she's looking for love, and she's using her grandma's fortune telling to tell her who she should be in love with, which is interesting because she's like totally down for this one dude, and then her grandmother says, look for the star sign to show you who you're supposed to be with, and she finds it by Lionel like dropping some pencils or whatever on the counter, and in the shape of the star, and she's like, oh
it's
my
the
God.
most flimsiest of signs.
Yeah,
Well, that's what people do. That's what people do. Like when some people that have had like tarot card readings, they just start to see signs everywhere because they're desperate for it to come. It's like, oh, this must be what the sign is. I'm like, well, what if it's not?
I mean,
what's that word? It's like, it's kind of like confirmation bias, isn't it? It's like, you know, you look for things that approve your worldview. So,
right.
You know, if you believe in tarot cards, then you'll start to see kind of the signs of the, you know, the readings and stuff everywhere.
Yeah. So, like, I ended up watching this movie specifically to make sure Paquita gets out okay. That's all I want, is for her to just, like, have a nice day. That's what I want from this movie.
That's awesome. You're kind of like a horror movie chaperone who just kind of like turns up and stands at the edge of the hall where all the shit's happening, just to make sure that she gets home safe.
Yeah, I don't care about
the one character that. Where are they?
Yeah, like I don't care about anyone else. It's like she's the only one, and yeah. So like with Lionel though, he's like such a wimp and such a wuss, and it's like it's so hard to watch this movie because he keeps making these huge mistakes. Like I mean, no, it's also like I know it's a zany zombie movie. I have to reiterate that again. I understand what they presented, but still, like the mother shouldn't have been able to get out of her grave. The mother should not have been able to. Well, she didn't get buried. But, well, no, she did get buried. Yeah, she was in their coffin and she was buried, but she was able to bust out because zombie strength, which is something I find really annoying about zombie movies, where it's like, oh, we're shambling weak corpses, and then it's like all of a sudden they're the Hulk whenever they need to. Like they'll rip through clothes and flesh, and there's like one instance where someone's rib cage gets ripped out of their body in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like
Great.
what? You couldn't do that if you were alive. What does zombieism give you that allows you to do that? It's insane.
I think,
monkey.
Yeah, I think there's a point in this movie like where if you didn't get it to begin with the things like the stop motion and the other kind of effects, you kind of go, oh wait, this is just a showcase of effects. Like there's a plot here, but like this is also just so they can go, oh look at this cool thing, we worked out how you can punch someone through the head, or look at this cool thing, we worked out how you can light someone up with a light bulb inside their head.
That was really cool. I will give that full credit. That was really awesome.
I love the way that zombie's there for like the entirety of the finale of the movie.
I love that she's not forgotten. She's still there, like in the background.
Yeah,
it's just
perfect.
like flailing on.
It's hot. Yeah. So we're gonna go past the funeral. After the funeral, I think Paquita and Lionel have a falling out or whatever. But Paquita never gives up on Lionel, which is like, I mean, it's good because you want to see more of Paquita because you just want her to have a nice day and you want to make sure she has a nice day, but you also just want her to not worry about Lionel ever again. You know. And I think
in the meantime, the vicar becomes zombified, and one of the greasers as well. So he takes them all and puts them in the basement.
Yeah. All four zombies having a little family reunion sort of thing downstairs, hanging out on the couch, listening to the radio, and just generally chilling.
I love the scene where he's trying to, like show the guy how to eat, and like the spoon goes through his head, and then like and then the other one is like pulling a trick on him, like eating some of his food or something, and he goes like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, see,
avoid, no.
Like that's the point where the movie stops becoming a zombie movie. Then it becomes like a what the fuck is this kind of thing movie. You know, like the horror part of like dealing with zombie mom is it's not like great, but it's present. But now you're dealing with like, okay, now he makes them breakfast. He makes them eggs with sedatives in them so that he can keep putting them to sleep so they won't bother anybody, which wouldn't work on a zombie, but whatever. And then, like, he's trying to teach them how to...
sedatives, tranquilizers.
Tranquilizers? Yeah. I forgot. He goes to that Nazi vet and buys a whole jug of tranquilizer, and he's just spending all day injecting them and keeping them out of the way. But so he puts the tranquilizer in the scrambled eggs and he hands it to them. And this is like the part where I'm like, am I really going to watch the rest of this movie? I think I can get away with not watching the rest of this movie, because the nurse who had been like nearly beheaded, like nearly headless Nick in Harry Potter, has that flap of skin keeping his head like attached to his body. She's like eating some of the scrambled eggs, and it like comes out and through her throat and then out of the hole where her head and her neck are separate, and just starts oozing down her chest.
Yeah.
And then the Viker's like, that's the hottest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to fuck this woman right here and right now, even though he's a zombie and wouldn't have any sex drive whatsoever. But at that point, the uncle shows up, and Lionel has to go tend to the uncle. So he shuts the door, locks the door, goes talk to the uncle, and then after the uncle is having his conversation, you start hearing, and it gets louder and louder and louder, harder and harder to ignore. It's like, are they really having two zombies? I have never seen nor heard anyone talk about this wacky zombie fucking fantasy they're having right now, and I am about to be shown in full view that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm watching this fucking movie and that it's not over yet. Like, this isn't the climax. Well, it's a climax, but it's not the climax.
Oh god.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You understand? You follow me? And it's not the climax.
I am following.
But it's like, holy, are they really? And then he opens the door and like, yeah, they're still going at it. And he has to like try to separate them. And I'm like, what happened? I want them to eat Lionel at this point, because that should be the point of the zombie, not like, I'm gonna fuck this other attractive zombie because I'm only sexually attracted to zombies. I'm a zombie sexual now. Respect my choices or whatever. Don't assume my gender or whatever. Oh fuck. And then they have like a baby tomorrow.
I know. It's
'Cause
zany
Rat
and
Monkey.
stupid. Yeah, because Rat Monkey. It's because they kind of went, oh, it would be really neat to write that in, so let's write that in.
Yeah. Like I said, they gave him a big old bag of money and said, do your worst. And he's like, you have no idea what you have just done. You are already doomed. How did this get past any level of censorship?
Well, that's funny because I mean I was reading the trivia page, and it says here. I mean, obviously, it would have been made by this point, but the BBFC it said here, loved the film and found the gore so comical and inoffensive that they seriously considered granting it a 15 certificate. It says in the end they determined that the sheer quantity of gore would confound expectations at 15 and therefore rated it 18.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's gore, but it's so over the top. It's just completely like it's farcical.
cartoony.
Yeah, it's cartoony. It's like it's Looney Tunes just taken to like the maximum degree, basically.
I wish I was watching Looney Tunes instead. You know, little Tom and Jerry, right? That'd have been nice.
Well, basically, basically, what we're doing, Chris, is we're kind of like we're finding the lowest point for you, so that like you said, you kind of enjoyed Zombie Flesh Eaters, but you didn't think it was like the best thing ever. But you'd go watch that rather than this. So we're kind of like we're working our way down to see where your like lowest point is.
Well, this is the lowest point right now. I
So
can't
far.
imagine anything worse. I mean, I can imagine like less production quality, sure, but like the content and the production quality like married together, this is the lowest possible bar. Like, I thought it couldn't possibly get any worse than this. It couldn't possibly get any worse than this. What else are they gonna do? I mean, they've already covered like zombie sex. They've already covered like just massive amounts of gore. What else could they possibly do to make this even worse? Well, I'm just gonna give you some mercy, Tom, and carry this for you a little bit.
Okay.
Tom, not Tom, Uncle Leo. What's his name? The uncle.
Les, or Len, something like that.
Len or Les or something like that.
The uncle comes in and sees
The uncle.
what's going on, and he's like, "Oh fuck! I didn't think you were into this kind of sick shit. I am definitely gonna have to call the police because I don't want to be an accessory after the fact." Which perfectly plays into his plans because he wanted to eject Lionel from the house, take the house himself and the fortune himself, because reasons. So he goes over there and he calls the police, probably fakes it, but he calls the police. He's like, "Oh yes, give me the police station. You know, you understand this hurts me more than it hurts you, Lionel. I can't possibly. Oh yes, Sergeant, blah, blah, blah. I have to report a murder. Oh yeah, I'll hold." And that's when Lionel's like, "You can have the house and everything." He just gives it to him. And it's like, really, Lionel? This is a point where you could like do something to be a hero of the movie, but he just wusses out again. He's like, "Here, you can have it all." And he's like, "Oh, cool." Hangs up the phone. And shortly invites all of his friends over for a massive house party.
Yeah, I just want to say before the house party, he takes the baby out, which is it's so funny.
I love it.
I was reading the trivia here, and apparently they'd kind of finished the shoot for the whole movie, and they come in under budget with about 45,000 New Zealand dollars remaining, so they decided to go and shoot the park scene. Like,
I'm glad
just
they
to
did.
add it as an extra. Yeah, because it's just so
Oh
stupid.
yeah, okay. He takes the baby out for a walk. I forgot. Yeah, the stroll. He has a stroller, puts the baby in there with barbed wire and everything, just to make sure the baby doesn't get him. And he's just trying to pretend to be the father. What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I love how it's like he's kind of watching what the other mother does and he's trying to do it. It's just
It goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
It's more wonderful slapstick. I love it.
It
I love
is.
this shit.
It's just beautiful the way, like, because you just when you don't think it could get any worse, he's like banging it against the like frame of the suit.
Oh yeah, that was actually great.
Tough punching it.
Because I mean that at least focused my frustration towards this movie. Like, oh yeah, beat up that baby, power bomb that baby, slam it against metal. I don't care. Do everything you can to that baby. Please kill that baby. Oh, yeah, you're right. That did happen before the uncle thing.
Yeah, so that was a nice scene.
Just before.
Yeah, it's just like that wasn't even gory at that point. It was just like pure stupidity.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that scene. It's a fine scene. I would watch that on YouTube. I would show that to people and be like, "Yeah, don't watch the rest of this movie though."
Yeah, maybe show them the Kung Fu Priest as well.
Or maybe I should.
That's a kill.
Or maybe I should encourage them to watch the movie because that way that'll guarantee they don't watch the movie. You know, oh, he says I'm not supposed to watch it. I wonder why. I'm going to watch it and find out. No. Please watch the movie. It's so important to me. It's the most important thing. I ain't doing that shit. That's what'll happen.
You're going to save people.
I'm going to save people.
Saving force too late.
I'm going to save them from the dark forces. Yeah, in the movie at some point, I think Paquita says, "Dark forces surround you." She was so cute.
She's great.
Like broken English and all that kind of stuff. What is zoo?
I think she's like playing up to that. Like she's being very sly.
Yeah,
I think she wants him to ask
smart.
her by accident.
Yeah.
Because then he goes, "You want no? What you mean is you want to go to the zoo?" And she goes, "Yes, please." And fuck, you sly bitch.
Yeah.
Sly girl, nice.
Like that's really cute and charming. But like if they were to get married or whatever. And then she just like got really comfortable with manipulating him. Then I'd kind of feel sorry for him. But still, at that point, it's like really cute and charming.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, please.
Fuck,
really?
Played right into it.
Fuck! I guess I gotta take her to the zoo now. Mom's gonna hate this, but I've got to do it.
To be fair, actually, thinking about earlier how she was originally interested in the other guy that made deliveries and that.
Yeah.
She does end up going on a couple of dates with him, and he is beyond boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talks
Always
the whole
talking
time
about
like whatever game. Like
He's
I
just
don't
like
even know
about
what game
playing
it was.
rugby.
Was it rugby?
He's like just talking about rugby, yeah.
That makes sense.
It's like every time you see him, he's just like talking about, and I did this, and I did a drop kick, and I scored a try.
Yeah.
Conversion, it was great. And she's just like, fucking
I love
kill
that
me.
little moment where she notices the party and she walks off, and he notices that she's gone, and he just kind of like shrugs and goes and walks off.
Yeah. Yeah, she disappeared. Not my problem anymore.
Oh well, guess I'll just go home and train.
Got a big rugby match tomorrow. Yeah, I think we can pretty much just cut to the party now, right?
Yeah, we're at the party. Yeah.
Not a whole lot of
It's
things
the main
happen
event.
except for like the uncle trying to sabotage Lionel by locking him in the basement, which is what leads to an event that leads the zombies out and everything goes to fucking hell.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like straight up hell. I was like counting the minutes. This is still going. I cannot believe I'm watching this movie. Like, I was right to not watch this movie when I saw it. We used to work at a Hollywood Video, and I would see it on the shelf, and I'm like, I'm never watching that fucking movie. And then I watched it today. I was right so long ago. Oh man. But yeah, so the zombies they get released because like Lionel's banging on the door, let me out, because the zombies are going to get him. Somebody who's really drunk opens the door. He runs past them. The zombies knock the door down on top of that guy, and then I think that's the guy they pull the ribcage out of.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
and
right.
Just before that, I mean, Paquita finds out about the fact that he's got the zombies in the basement, and he kind of suggests the poison, but then they find out that the poison is actually like
animal stimulant.
Yeah, like steroids basically.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck's sake.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, I get it now, actually. I was going to say, why would you have a double label on the same chemical that means two different things? And I was like, oh, wait, an animal stimulant would be poison to us, so that's probably why it says poison. Okay, never mind, I get it now. But
I love the way they burst out of the soil with like a light. There's like a backlight that always is so cartoony.
Yeah, it's like,
it.
shows,
It's like a comic book.
showtime, everybody! Ha 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 ha! Yeah, that was... Fuck! Oh, yeah. So then, the next 20 minutes is just full of fake blood and effects, just
And insanity.
total chaos. absolute madness. No one's leaving the house. Everyone's dying in the house.
Yeah, they are.
And they're turning at a moment. Like, they just like, oh, I'm dead. Now I'm a zombie. I'm going to help the zombies eat everybody. And it's like, what happened to that, like, 20 minutes of, or at least a full day in the world's, setting of turning after the rat bite, but, zombie logic and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I do like the fact that there's a reason why everyone can't get out as well. It's because Lionel boards the shit out of everything so the zombies can't get out.
Yeah, he does board the doors, but that doesn't stop him from opening the doors. But you're right. You're right. There are nails and boards on the door, though.
Yeah, he does it he puts like a fence around the house as well. There's just like loads of metal and sheeting and that's great.
I must have looked at Facebook when I was watching the movie and didn't see that part. But whatever, Lionel. Good job trying to like contain the outbreak by yourself.
It so worked.
Like it's at this point that, and I'm just going to take a quick detour. Another movie that I never actually want to watch is A Little Shop of Horrors.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. Because I saw it when I was like 5, and it gave me nightmares for like a decade. So I just don't ever really want to go see it. Because I looked at screenshots recently, because one of my favorite cosplayers actually dressed up as the nerd who finds that alien space seed or whatever. And I was like, whoa, he's the Little Shop of Horrors guy. And I was like, I'm sure I won't be scared of that if I look at it right now. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, fuck me, that damn plant monster is horrifying.
Yeah, it was...
it's like with the red lips and stuff, it gives it almost like a human quality, and I fucking hate that thing.
What is it called, Audrey?
Audrey.
Yeah,
Audrey
Audrey
the Third or Audrey 2, something like that. Yeah,
it calls it Audrey 2.
So this movie reminds me of one of the reasons why I don't like Little Shop of Horrors, and one of the reasons I don't like Little Shop of Horrors is because you have another lackwit hero who doesn't do anything but make everything worse. You know what I mean? Like, except for at the very end, I think he kills Audrey too with like some electricity or something. I guess I didn't watch the movie, but I just caught my parents watching the movie when I was 5, and I remember wearing a ball cap, and then I pulled the ball cap off over my own face, just like all the way down on my face. I'm not watching that shit, and then I left.
Do you know what though, dude? Like the thing that makes you upset and scared the most is like social anxiety about people who don't act like properly.
Yeah,
and that's like Harry Potter levels. Like Harry Potter is like, oh, the thing you're afraid of, Harry, is fear itself. How noble. It's like, yeah, the thing that scares you the most is like real life shit. So I like that.
All right.
Like, it's not the monsters and the gore. It's more like kind of like, although that they are creepy and weird. It's more just the kind of like, oh, this guy's just so stupid. He's doing all the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's doing all the wrong things and it's hurting other people. He's the villain. You know,
he's the villain of the piece.
Yeah, that's a good observation. I never put that together, but that's basically it. Like I'm watching the villain succeed for like an hour and a half instead of like worrying about the zombies. I don't care about the zombies. You can take care. That's a problem. It's easily solved. But it's like this other guy who keeps fucking up and affecting everyone else's lives. I mean, there's at least like 30 people in that giant house party, and they all die horribly.
Yeah, they
do. You know, I like the guy who gets his head cut off, so it kind of like just keeps getting kicked around the floor.
Yeah.
it's just skiing around. It's great.
I do like that.
Like
I do like that because like he can't do anything. He can't even like bridge his like lower jaw and upper jaw together to bite somebody. He just exists and he's just watching what's going on, and he can't possibly digest, he can't possibly consume, he can't possibly contribute. He's just there. Oh man, but yeah, people get ripped apart. People's heads were like ripped in like in half vertically, and then like I think that zombie baby's face comes out through that, and I mean like arms, and like nobody can defend themselves. They're all trying to like board themselves into rooms of the house while this fucking monster party is happening, and it's all that fucker's fault. Anyway, somebody else carry it. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Over to you, Tom.
Well, yeah, so the guests reanimate. They begin to attack the people who are left. Paquita and Lionel are separated. Lionel kind of like heads upstairs and gets cornered by the greaser, who during the chaos, like as he's trying to grab him, basically gets kind of like severed in two, and all of his internal organs come out. And then...
Oh, Jesus.
The internal organs essentially become like a kind of like some weird cute little creature.
Yeah, against like its own sentience.
Of course, complete with like farting asshole still.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, and vanity. I think it looks at a mirror at some point and starts to
Yeah,
dress
it looks
itself
at
up.
itself in the mirror and it's
Yes.
cute and it's oh my
It's
god,
like,
I'm
let me
looking at
just-
someone's like stomach tract like being cute.
And it's just like, oh wait, and it's like fixing itself in the mirror. Like, yeah, that's better there. Yeah, put that there. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I mean, Lionel manages to escape. He flushes the guy in the toilet and escapes up into the attic, where he finds a chest with kind of, I guess, the plot reveal that his father didn't die drowning. He was well, he did, but he was killed by his mother after she found him with another woman, and that was the kind of the traumatic event from his childhood.
Yeah, I think it's like really dark all of a sudden, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because her bones
Jesus.
are in there as well.
Yeah, it's like.
So it's like his mother was like a monster way before she got bitten, but we knew
Yeah,
that.
she was. She's a fucking murderer.
Yeah,
And they kept the body in a chest. You know, like the thing is, like those chests are not really airtight. that house stunk all the time. It had to have. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
whatever though. That's whatever.
It's tasty.
Yummy.
Itchy tasty.
And then he falls through the ceiling and he's kind of hanging upside down and there's a whole swinging thing. The whole thing is just so frenetic and
Yeah, it's hard to keep
like-
track of. Like, there's no real chain of events except for the important one where like Greaser loses his internal organs and then becomes two zombies effectively.
yeah, it's
His
just
legs
kind
are
of
still
like
walking around as well.
gloriously kind of like insane at that point. It's just manic, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
like
it's
including the guy.
really broken down.
I really like this scene, you know, the camera shot of the guy's head getting kicked across the floor because the whole thing is just like manic and yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's zany fun. I mean, it is over the top, incredibly over the top.
Oh, but it knows that, and it's just having fun with it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you would have switched off the movie unless you were prepared to watch the whole thing. So at that point, I don't know how true this is, Chris, but it's fair to say most people, if they're at this point, they're on board, unless they've been forced, like you were at gunpoint, to watch it.
At gunpoint, yeah. It was a long gun you had there, too. I'll tell you. That barrel stretched across an ocean. I can still see it pointing at me through the window, and it's like, okay, Tom, you can move that gun now.
Yeah, it's more kind of like an orbital device that can rain death down upon you.
You sent a drone over here with a handgun. You see, like that's what this movie is, though. It's like that little anecdote or the little bit of joke that we just did about the drone and the gun. Like that's this movie. Only someone went all the way with it. You know, like wouldn't it be funny if? Wouldn't it be funny if? Haha, yeah, let's write that down. Hire a cast and crew, get catering, some production, a budget together. You know, spend a few months shooting this kind of thing and like make it into a real movie. What do you say? I'd be like, dude, I was just kidding. You know, I don't think.
What are you filming today? Oh, this is the bit where she tries to put the baby in the blender.
Yeah, tries to and fails. God damn it.
Yeah, and you're kind of like, I want to see something going in the blender, and then eventually the guy with half a head does.
Well, I like that when that happens. Like he's looking up at her, like, please no, come on,
Yeah.
come on. And he looks down and she starts turning. He's like, no,
Like, I am no
Just
threat.
disappears.
Please don't do this to me.
Like, please, I was having fun.
Yeah.
And she just starts feeding bits into it.
Yeah, really, just anything,
Yeah.
anything at all. She'll just
Just
put it
anything.
in the blender. I'm making juice. So gross.
Tasty.
Let's see. I know the uncle is like one of the few survivors for most of the duration of it.
Yeah, I think he's been kicked in the balls a couple times by this point,
Several times.
which is
yeah.
fairly
5 times, I
deserved
think it
for his
is.
character, but
Yeah.
he's still
It just
kicking at this
keeps
point.
happening.
There was that
Every
great
single
part though
time.
when like he had two butcher's cleavers and he just stood his ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was pretty great. Like I'll say that was actually fun to watch because they just fast forwarded him chopping left and right.
yeah. And suddenly he's got a whole heap of them in front of him.
it's like a fucking like Dragon Ball Z moment or something.
Yeah, it really was.
And then the camera cuts back and there's just like that pile of twitching, like moving, writhing body parts.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that'll do. That's good.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Then he lights a cigarette and he takes his, I guess it's an asthma pipe or something like that. I don't know what that was, but a little clear thing he'd breathe in on.
Something like that.
Yes.
And I also liked the bit as well where he was outside and he wanted to come in, and Paquita and the girl are there, and the girl's like, we should let him in, and Paquita's like, no.
It's a fuck.
And then she goes, but we have to, and then she's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't turn out bad for them, because if like the uncle was being lecherous even in that situation, I'd be like, come the fuck on, people. What is wrong with you? But no, it worked out because then he could stand his ground and chew through a whole fucking lot of zombies. That was pretty great. So that worked out.
Dude's badass.
Yeah, I almost want to high five him. A bit rapey, but you know. But he stood his ground on the zombies. Oh man.
And I think we're pretty much at the point now where I believe when we talked about this movie last cast, you were Googling as we spoke, Chris, and you said something about the lawnmower scene. And yeah, this is the lawnmower scene. It's really kind of like quite famous scene where essentially
it is.
He comes in and uses an upturned lawnmower to essentially mow everything down. And yeah, the amount of blood on display is just ludicrous at this point. I was saying to Chris before the cast started that it's basically to the point where you can't actually make out everything in the shot anymore. It's just like a mess of writhing, kind of glistening redness. I mean,
it's great because the first time he goes through, he stops and you're like, yeah, big, yeah, celebration, heroic. He turns around, there's still loads there, and it's like, well, back I go.
Yeah, I got a very Frank West vibe during that. I was like, yeah, Dead Rising. Yeah. I should just play that instead of watching this shit. But no, there's not much left anyway, so I might as well see it through. I've already seen enough, but whatever. But yeah, he does make like several passes through, and then he just like, when he's covered with like, it looks more like strawberry yogurt or something.
Yeah.
Like, than like true fake blood, but I'm not like gonna like judge them on the consistency of their fake blood. I don't really care. Like, it wasn't as good as it could have been. Honestly, it was like a C grade fake blood. No. But like, it was cool because like he was moving through the zombies, and it seemed like they're just like they had jets of blood coming from the bottom of the camera, and then just coming up and around him while the zombies were there. And it was just like, that's why I think you couldn't really see anything, because nothing was really happening, but just obscuring red mist constantly going everywhere. And I'll give it to them on this movie because I haven't seen that before in a live action movie. So anyway,
yeah, and it's like I was going to go on to say about the half torso guy shows up and gets stuck on the front of the lawnmower, and obviously he can't reach the cord, so he grabs a body limb from nearby and uses it to pull the cord.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. He gets a hand, you know. I was like, a little pun. Wasn't worth it to get here, but you know, there's something. There's a good pun.
It's stupid slapstick, and we forgot to mention as well the scene earlier on when he was running on the spot with the blood.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
So, like, the whole thing is just incredibly stupid. I mean, I say that with a smile on my face. Like, it's fun, but it's incredibly stupid.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking after that running incident that I was like, he's going to wake up and this was all a dream. That's how this is going to end, because when you have a really bad nightmare, most of the time you can't run from the enemy, or you'll be like running really slowly, and I'm like, that's what's happening right now, isn't it? That's exactly what's happening. Oh, I can't wait for this to be like, it's all a dream. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Fuck this movie. I'm done. But it doesn't. It still finds a way to get worse.
It was your bad dream, Chris.
It was my living nightmare. Yeah, I'm going to wake up and have to like, oh, I haven't actually watched the movie yet. Here I go. And then we're going to do the podcast again. This is like my actual dream right now. So, but yeah, he does take care of the greaser zombie, whose insides are its own zombie, and his torso and his legs somehow like fall together, and he's like manipulating his legs with his hands to move around.
He's like, I can make this work.
Yeah.
I can make this
I
work.
can still eat people. Watch me. You know, which is what results into the lawnmower incident, getting a hand and yanking the lawnmower thing. So it's like all the zombies are dead, and I think Paquita shows up or something. And drum roll, we forgot a zombie. It's Mom.
Yeah, he goes, I ain't seen Mum yet.
Yeah, he does say it like that too.
Well, because we see her kill Uncle Les, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, she does.
Where very graphically.
And I was like,
she rips his spine
I
out.
was like, what are those hands? Like 3-foot long fingernails and long arms. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, how do they explain this? How does animal stimulant make this happen? Oh yeah, Peter Jackson. That's how. And yeah.
Well,
I guess she's patient
noticed
zero.
something.
So.
Well, I noticed something because this is the third or fourth time I've seen this. And at the end, skipping a bit, when we see the full reveal and they're on top of the roof, I realised she's actually turned into a giant rat monkey.
Yeah, she has. Yeah.
Yeah, she's because her skull's like malformed and looks more animalistic. If that's a word, is that a word? Fuck, it's a word now. Cause I fucking said so.
It's totally a word.
It's a word.
I'm still stunned that you just said you watched this 3 or 4 times now.
I like this movie.
I'm like, oh wow.
I appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, and I know you do, and you have your reasons, and I respect them. I was just like surprised when I heard that. I was like, that's possible? 3 or 4 times? Like, you might have watched it 4 times?
Yeah, I have. But no, it wasn't until now that I realised that she's changed into a giant fucking rat monkey.
And you're right. You're definitely right on that. Now that I've seen it, now that I know what you're talking about.
But it took me a few watches to realise as well.
I did want to go back to Paquita. I forgot, because she takes care of Uncle Les eventually.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, she takes care of him.
Yeah, that was pretty great. Like, I mean, at this point, it's like if you're standing out in the rain and you're waiting for your taxi and it's still raining and it's been like an hour and you don't care anymore that you're soaked in water and you're like, whatever, the taxi will get here, I'll just be soaked, I don't give a shit, I'm just going to go home and I'm just going to have to stay here for the taxi to get here. That kind of scenario, because I'm watching this movie and it's like, I've seen so much. I am numb to this now. I don't care anymore. Is that what's happening? Okay, that's what's happening now? Okay, whatever, I don't give a shit. So when Uncle Les shows up and he's like, Eggman without a torso and a spinal cord, like Dr. Eggman, and it's like, what? How did this happen? It's like somebody took an apple and ate the core but left the bottom and then put the head on top, and then it could walk around somehow. That's what's left of Uncle Les. And Paquita, like a goddamn superhero, runs in, rips the spinal cord off of him, and just like flails it around her head like a flail, like an actual like medieval weapon flail, and then I think she slam dunks it into the blender or something.
No, she like hits it on the work surface.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
it just
and
explodes.
It pops, yeah, like a fucking water balloon full of fake blood, just boom. And I was
like, whoa, that'll do.
Fucking hell, Paquita's tired of this shit too. I'm still relating to Paquita all the way through this movie. Yeah, unrequited love sucks, Paquita, but you have to learn to deal with it. Yeah, sometimes we fall for the wrong people, Paquita, but sometimes we have to learn to deal with it. Yeah, sometimes the zombie apocalypse happens, Paquita, and you have to learn to deal with it.
But tarot cards and all that. It's cool, it's fine.
Sometimes dark forces happen, and you have to learn to deal with it.
Dark forces.
But yeah, so that leads to the we ain't seen Mum yet, and then like giant rat monkey version of his zombie mom comes out of the ground, all like Thriller like, and they run away from her and get to like the rooftop where they're relatively safe, but then of course she busts through the roof as if she was Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 and you just can't fucking escape it. And at this point she's regained her sentience because she's talking to him.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah, she speaks almost normally.
Yeah, now it's like that's like the worst kind of evil, like when it's like a reckless chaotic evil that's logically justifying itself. It's like stop it. No.
Like, go away.
Why can't you just be mindless so I can just feel good about flamethrowering you? But now it's like you're my real mom again.
Well, yeah, so much so that her middle section opens up, ready
fucking hell
to receive him.
Yeah, reverse birth. Here it comes. The uncesarean section. Jesus, I'm actually wore out right now, even rethinking everything that we just saw.
A lot happens.
Yeah.
It is an exhausting movie. I like it, and it's exhausting just because the final 20 minutes is just so chaotic and insane.
Yeah.
And so much high energy as well. You have to have a cigarette afterwards.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it was like to be a video editor on this movie. Like having to like splice film together and like make sure the take moves smoothly by rewatching this section over and over and over again until you get to the final cut. And then you just like look at that handgun you've been staring at this whole time and you just take yourself out.
I've got the name of the person here. It's Jamie Selkirk. And you know what? He won the award for best editing in Return of the King.
Oh my god, he used the same editor in Return of the King. How cool.
And Fellowship
well,
and
why wouldn't you?
Two Towers, all three of them.
That guy's like experienced like all out, you know? He's a fucking god of video editing.
It's like after the events of Braindead, it's like we formed a pact now. We're just all together in this.
A blood pact.
Blood. The bloodening.
Yeah. It's like they have shared trauma, right? So they all work together now.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I keep going back to Harry Potter, but it's like that bit in the first book of Harry Potter where they're like, there are some things, you can go through and not become friends, but like dispatching a troll is one of them. And so like it's like basically they became friends through that event. It's like, yeah, if you get together and make a film where 300 liters like of fake blood is used and someone's dressed up as like a giant rat monkey, you go through that shit, you're not the same, and you're all kind of like bounded like by blood.
Yeah.
Bounded?
Can we talk about giant rat monkey real quick? Like she had the massive tits with like nipples and everything on them. Like it was gross. And like I mean, it looked almost like a giant fat old woman, but also like a giant fat like rat monkey or something pushed together. And I still have to hand it to them though, because they animated that thing. It moved of its own. It was a practical effect that moved on its own, like, or at least as far as I could see.
They learned that shit on Meet the Feebles, like that, because that looks like someone in like a big bodysuit. So like that's basically what they did on Meet the Feebles. So
yeah, so they'd have someone obviously walking around in it, and then other people animating the hands and the eyes and the mouth. So it's a really, I mean, it didn't have a massive budget. I think it was only like 3 million.
Yeah, it said 3 million.
Which then it didn't make. It made no money really.
Yeah.
It made
Good.
less than half a million. And I mean, I think the problem is as well is that either title isn't particularly great either. I still think Dead Alive is a stupid movie title. So what Dead Alive? What the fuck is that?
Like Braindead works in the fact that it lets you know that you're dealing with something that's like stupid, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like
this film should be called like
silly.
Mummy's Boy or something. Like, that would be better.
Something to give it a theme that you can follow. Because when you call it Braindead or Dead Alive, I didn't know what I was even getting into. I was watching this movie and it's like, okay, so who am I supposed to follow? But if it was called something like Mama's Boy or something like that, like you mentioned, I would be like, oh, okay, that's the character I'm supposed to be following because that's the character who's stuck to his mom.
Yeah, and it's clear that he has an arc. He's kind of like under the thumb, kind of like suppressed little boy, sort of like he's grown up, but he's still like a little boy. And then he learns to kind of like it's all about overcoming his mother and escaping her kind of like overbearingness. So
Also, the poster's fucking terrible.
Is it a skull?
It's just a woman holding her lips open and there's a little skull inside her mouth. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, that's
what
got
the fuck
nothing
is
to
that?
do with it.
Yeah.
The closest thing to that is when the baby pulls its face through the woman's face.
Yeah, and that's completely fucking different.
Yeah. Something
weird.
I remember from the Arnold Schwarzenegger autobiography, he was talking about Total Recall. I know, I'm just going to cut away real quick. He was talking about Total Recall, and the initial trailer they made to advertise Total Recall was poorly edited. Like, it didn't really like nail the point of what Total Recall was supposed to be about. And they were just going to go with it. And apparently Arnold was like, oh, this is terrible. This doesn't fit our numbers. We aren't getting the right kind of attention for this movie. If we want it to be a blockbuster, we have to redo the way we're marketing this thing. And the reason I bring that up is because that's something that Peter Jackson did not do for this movie. No. Like they could have just had like Mama's Boy and a red video case. That's it. You can kind of like after you watch the movie, it's like, huh? You kind of get what they were doing though after you finish the movie. But even after finishing the movie, the current case doesn't do anything. It doesn't match up with what you saw, or at all. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have done something else to market the movie better. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's a complete disconnect there between the two things.
I'm willing to bet that whoever did the marketing of it just didn't watch the movie for good reason. Yeah, I'll do some graphic art for the VHS. Yeah, no problem. No, I'm not watching that movie though. I'm just gonna kind of like with the Mega Man 1 box art, where it's like the story behind that.
Oh
is
my God.
We have one day to come up with box art for Mega Man 1. I know a guy. I'm gonna call him and say, yeah, it's a guy. He's got a blue outfit and he goes to different places and he's got a gun. And there you go, Mega Man 1 box art.
Yeah, just looks like washed up, futuristic policeman with constipation.
Yeah.
Hang on, yeah,
That's what the Mega Man 1 box art looks like. I don't want to No, it has.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd always
so
thought
bad.
how
That
weird it
box
was
art's legendary.
that like he was using a pistol and not his Buster cannon, which is very
It's
obvious in the
amazing.
game. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it now, and his like legs are back to front. Like they're not the right
He's
way
like-
around.
Can you see his face though? She's like, no.
yeah. Oh.
No.
He does. He just looks mildly perturbed.
It's like he's leaving
someone took
everything
the last
behind. You know, he's like, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, fuck Robot City. I'm leaving.
Oh,
Right.
it's so bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I every time I look at that box art, it just seems to get worse.
I'm staring at it right
Mega Man
now.
1
It's
box art.
amazing.
It's just every time I see Mega Man 1, I'm amazed at that. They're like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, you guys probably know this, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. You can actually play as bad box art Mega Man and Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I have heard
Yeah,
that.
I'm looking at pictures of that now as well.
Yeah,
That's cool. I like that. That's cool.
yeah.
But then again, like saying about that, the Mega Man 2 box art is a slight improvement. He's got the right colours. Still looks like a very like middle-aged man, and he's still got a pistol.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at Drill Man. He's got like a
Yeah.
like a cool sweet
Yarr.
cap on, like a baseball cap.
Yo, man. He's like, I'll go kick your ass. Oh man, video game box art's come a long way.
You know, talking about this has been a real breath of fresh air. But we're not done. So
Oh, we're done. We're done.
No.
Basically, they defeat her, and that is the end.
the house is on
They escape
fire. I'll
the
just say
burning
that. The
house.
house is on fire. She falls into the house again. We can presume that she dies in the fire.
Yeah, house on fire. Thankfully, like finally from that poor lady who's still lit up with the light bulb. Like I think I'm pretty sure that's where the fire started. Like eventually, like she's been there for ages, and then suddenly like just starts bursting into flame.
Yeah.
And then she turns the gas on, and it sets fire to one of the other
Oh,
zombies.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually really cool. I was like, man,
Yeah.
Paquita is awesome. She's like, this might kill me. I don't give a shit. Boom.
It's like having none of this shit.
Oh, man.
The final 20 minutes are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I still think it's a
I
lot
mean,
of fun.
like I said before, I didn't know what I was even getting into. I just knew this was a stupid slapstick movie, and it just like drop kicked Mario ground pounded the bar straight to the bottom of the ocean because I had no idea what I was getting into, but what I saw was more than I could ever have imagined. I mean, this is definitely some nightmare fuel in some way.
Fucking zombie baby.
Yeah,
Oh.
like I mean, if you cut the zombie baby part, it's not as bad. But like the fact that like the zombie Vicar priest guy was like, you know what though, this nurse, you guys aren't looking at. I'm gonna have this nurse. I'm just gonna go fucking have this nurse. And then she's like, yeah, I've got nothing else going on. You know?
Oh, poor Lionel.
Yeah.
Honestly, she bites his. Like that's it. He walks in when they're doing it, and he tries to pull Father Magruder, zombified Father Magruder off, and she tears his lips off. Doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she's like still chewing them.
Yeah, she stretches it like some really good mozzarella. Hopefully that doesn't ruin pizza for you guys. But and
It's weird. Like I wanted to ask you guys about this, right? Because like I don't know, but like maybe I just am well adjusted. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. That's complete opposite being well adjusted. When it's like fantastical, stupid horror, like and really gory, really grisly, like I can eat. and it does not bother me like at all. Like I can watch The Walking Dead while eating my dinner; it just not affect me. But like real life discomfort, like real life pain, or like like those torture porn things, like I just can't stand. Like so long as it's fantastical horror, like you can cut people to pieces. It just like it's fine.
I think I can I see what you mean. The one for me is the older Italian exploitation stuff, just because it always looks so fucking revolting.
Oh, like
You're
know,
like,
with the eye from Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah,
that was a bit kind of like
You're like, no, why is it like that? And because obviously they don't shoot their films to look particularly pretty, so it all looks dank and nasty anyway.
Yeah,
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't eat during this. It looks fucking revolting.
I could probably still
right
eat through the eye scene of Zombie Flesh Eaters, probably.
Really?
Yeah. Well, now that I've seen it, if it was the first time, probably
it.
not. But yeah,
First time, you'd be screaming, "Ah!" Mouthful of pizza.
I am the opposite of you, Tom. I definitely wouldn't be able to eat during this movie or Zombie Flesh Eaters, and I know that from I watched the Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white version, and that's when I realized that I couldn't eat while watching some of these horror movies, is because I was having a big old bowl of ramen. I liked ramen back then. I was like, yeah, ramen. And when they started like pulling the intestines out and it looked like ramen, because it's black and white, and I was like, I'm really not eating this anymore at all. I'm just not gonna. I mean, I'm not hungry anymore. Like whatever appetite I had is now gone. So it makes me feel like I have ordered too much food and I can't possibly finish this food, except for without the satisfaction of having actually eaten the food. I end up just dropping it, But I know what you mean. Like I was talking to my fiance about this. Like for me, this movie was hard to watch because of all of the reckless death. Where you see it as like a zany, like, slapstick comedy, I'm like, someone's gonna have to make phone calls to these people's families.
That's like that. No, you should be proud of that. That's like immensely practical, which is a good way to like view things. It's like, well, shit, someone's got to clean this up. Someone's got to like you said, notify the family.
Yeah.
Whereas there's me and Tom just going, violence, rip the face apart.
See his arm come off? It was great.
Yeah.
Use the lawnmower.
But like
party's
I'm
over.
just like that every day.
But like in, say, example, Dead Rising, that doesn't bother me at all. But it's a video game, so I think the detachment is just easier there. But with like a live action, this is probably why I didn't like practical effects for a very long time. But like the live action stuff, it's a lot more real to me, and I'm like, whoa, no, that's terrible. Why did she have to die like that? That's a horrible thing, Like especially that eye pulling scene with the zombie flesh eaters. It's like, dude, just use your tongue to bat the wood out the way,
Yeah,
die to the zombie, but don't lose your eye.
Please, for your own sake.
Yeah, for everyone's sake. What are you fucking doing? Stop that.
They'll go, ah!
Yeah. I just love the inflection you gave on that sentence. Like, what are you fucking doing?
I don't know if it's a little Tommy Wiseau or something else. I'm not sure what the fuck that is. But I just like to elongate the syllable when I'm trying to use greater emphasis and original expression. So, but also Tommy Wiseau was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, this movie betrayed me. I'm fed up with this world.
Yes, that was good. That was perfect.
Thank you. Very quickly about the Fly mostly, actually the film in general. Do you reckon the original developers of Dead Rising watch this? Because I have a strong feeling they did.
I think possibly because
because of the strong comedic.
Yeah, I couldn't find much about this movie in terms of like people talking about it. People don't seem to talk about it an awful lot. But looking at the Wikipedia page, it says that that Simon Pegg in his autobiography said that it was really quite a big influence in terms of Shaun of the Dead, which. I can believe. I can see parts of that in it. Like when Dylan Moran gets pulled out the window and they tear him apart and pull his entrails out. That's just like this movie. So I can totally see where the inspiration comes. So I think it might have inspired more people than we're actually aware of, because although there isn't a lot about it, I think a lot of people kind of like heard about it because of its reputation on it's grisly and. You've got the kind of the comedy things. It's very easy to sell someone on this movie, even if they're not going to enjoy it, by saying things like, "Oh, it's got a kung fu priest," and that kind of thing.
It's got like buckets of blood.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think as well, like in terms of its time. It came out in like '92 in New Zealand, like '93 in America. At its time, I can't think of that many comedic zombie films, and the only one I can think of is Return of the Living Dead, and Return of the Living Dead 2, which is shit. I mean, there were others made like Redneck Zombies, which is just
That
fucking
is
crap.
awful. That is fucking
it's
awful.
really bad.
Fuck Troma
I mean,
Studios.
I love
No,
Troma.
fuck 'em.
Yeah, I really like
Okay.
Troma, but it's one of those I think Toxic Avenger is funny. Like a lot of their films are like they work, but that one is such a stinker where it just doesn't work. I get what they were trying to do, and it just doesn't work. And I've seen people online try to defend it, going, "But it's Troma." I'm like, yeah, Troma have made better movies than that are funny.
Yeah.
You know, they've made other movies that actually get the genre they're parodying. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see why some people would be influenced by it. Maybe he'd have watched it and just gone, "Huh, zombies could work in a comedy." Like, and it's and really, our Braindead's like at its core at times a romantic comedy as well.
Yeah.
Which is what Shaun of the Dead was marketed as. It was a rom-com zom. Rom-com zom, was it zom rom-com? Oh wait, whichever iteration it was. But I can definitely see what that influenced him for that. Because there's still not really that many comedic zombie films, because it is really difficult to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Really.
Shaun of the Dead inspired a lot of copycat stuff.
Oh yeah, it did. Like, let's make a comedy this or a comedy that one. We'll do vampires next. Like, please stop. You know, we had that atrocious lesbian vampire hunters.
Oh, I remember
with
that.
James, I want to kick you
James
repeatedly in
Corden
the dick. Corden.
and the other guy he used to do comedy with on BBC Three, Matt someone.
Yeah, before James Corden was a massive bellend.
Yeah, and the other guy did that Gavin and Stacey thing that I've never seen.
Yeah. But yeah, because he had stuff like that. But
That was kind of like that they were trying to do a love letter to Hammer Horror with that film, though, and just ended up failing miserably.
Yeah, because you know you're supposed to actually watch what you're homaging first, you know, before.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny because I'm James Corden and I'm fat. Not really. I can make jokes about my weight, but I don't like it when other people make jokes about it.
Does he not?
I'm gonna cry because Patrick Stewart called me fat.
Patrick Stewart's a legend.
Patrick Stewart just stood there like, I want to punch
Patrick
you.
Stewart's awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
He's like, I want to punch you in the
like,
face.
Whenever I see a news story about Patrick Stewart, it's just good news. Like the last one I saw was like, it's like he's in love with like this rescue dog he rescued, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart's fucking awesome.
I wanted to really quickly
he's
mention
great.
something because anyway, the Red Letter Media zombie review thing, Mr. Plinkett's zombie review, actually mentioned, and you might remember we had this conversation when we were talking about Return of the Living Dead. They actually mentioned that the zombies eating brains thing was mentioned in Return of the Living Dead. Like, that's where it began. And I was like, I remember we asked about, like, I think that's the first time you actually see that happening in a movie, and it really doesn't happen, like, ever again. So, like, Return of the Living Dead actually inspired the zombie brain eater thing that nobody ever uses,
weird,
you know? It's, like, really cool.
It's weird because, like, it's such a... I mean, Return of the Living Dead is such a cult movie as well. And it's just... It's so weird that in a lot of, like... You know, a lot of pop culture, whenever they do like parody of zombies, it's always brains.
Yeah.
Brains. And it's like the only film that they ever did that was Return of the Living Dead.
like Treehouse of Horror through like, you know, all that kind of like pop culture. It's brains,
weird, isn't it? But it's always the slow zombies that want to eat brains. It's like, but that Return of the Living Dead with the fast ones that just sprint everywhere and they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But yeah, it's so strange that little... It's like, it must have had more of an impact on people than anyone realised. Just because they still... I'm going to parody zombies. Brains. But that's not Romero zombies. Stop it.
Yeah. That's not anybody's zombies. Stop it, except for Return of the Living Dead. But
Yeah, weird.
yeah, but that's how weird it is that like these cult classics can inspire greater movies, and so they do have worth in some fashion, even if they don't meet or exceed their budget. You know, like, it's worth it to create, even if there's no value to it at present, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Which is why we're doing our podcast.
Yes.
I just like to stay humble.
We're inspiring the next generation of great minds to.
Yeah. Well, they already have two great movies. They have the Zombie Gladiators movie we mentioned earlier that no one's ever going to make. That would be fucking awesome. And we have like that Valentine's Day thing that Bye Bye Man inspired, because Bye Bye Man was so fucking terrible that if they just switched the villain around to somebody who actually made sense in the context of their script, then it would have actually been a relatively okay horror movie. You know, it would have been a movie I would have rather watched than this piece of shit.
Speaking of the Bye Bye Man, I saw people online defending it. They're like, it's not that bad. I'm like, it is. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are saying it doesn't make sense. Because it doesn't.
It is just utterly pointless.
It's such a he's like the worst movie monster ever.
Yeah, he touches your forehead. Watch out.
Oh no! Like Freddy Krueger, he's gonna get you in your dreams. I've got that. Jason Voorhees wants to kill teenagers. I've got that. Leatherface is going to kill you and he's going to fucking eat you. And he's going to use your skin to make furniture. Like, got it. Scary. I got it. I got that. It's fine. George Romero's zombies, they're just going to eat you and then you're going to come back as one. And it's just going to be an epidemic. Okay, I got it. The Bye Bye Man, he wants you to spread his name, but he's going to kill you. What? But the only way to stop him is to kill yourself, which is kind of what he's trying to do anyway.
Yep.
I think. What?
You know what?
Watch out for my Skin-Dawg.
My Skin-Dawg. You know what sucks?
We got
is that you mentioned the Bye Bye Man and how he kills you, and I just realized that's exactly how the room in room 1408 kills you.
Yeah, but
but it works in the hotel room. That whole thing is way better.
Yeah, so.
Because that room, because they even just in that he just says this room's fucking evil.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's just waiting for people. It's like a Venus flytrap. It's waiting for people to come in. But like with the Bye Bye Man, like he wants to torture you, I guess, by making you kill your family, and then make sure that you don't kill yourself long enough to pass on the name to someone else, so then they can start telling everyone their name.
Yeah, he's like stood right there when the guy shoots himself. Like, no, you only just spread my name. If only I actually did something.
Yeah, it's like a Venus flytrap
like
where
anything.
Like, he has to like eat the fly, but also let it live and crawl out to tell another fly.
Don't go to the Venus flytrap over there. It's a trap. Go over there. Okay.
Yeah. I wonder why he told me not to go there. I guess I'm gonna go there.
He's like, right now, I'm gonna keep you here for a while. I'm gonna nibble you a bit, and then I'm gonna let you go. What? Are you gonna come after me afterwards? Nah, just tell your friends.
Yeah, just tell your friends.
Okay. It'd be like
give me a Yelp
vampire
review.
just wanted. It'd be like if there was like a vampire who didn't want to turn anyone into a vampire. He just wants to take a little bit of blood for like 5 seconds. He's like, right, off you go.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
It's like. That's what? Not even scary, really. Honestly, I'll come here and give you some blood sometime if that's all you want. You know, that's fine.
I'll bring a movie around. It'd be great. I'll just have some of my blood taken out, like at a hospital. Give you the blood pack. I'll bring some popcorn. We'll have a movie night.
No, you've got to let me do my spooky shit as well.
We'll bring people
I'll
around. It's
flick
great.
the lights on and off and like hide behind a curtain.
Like, have you
give me the blood.
Have you ever played Mario Kart? We can play Mario Kart. It'd be fine. You know, it's like 8 players. We can do this shit. It'd be awesome.
I hate the blue shell.
Fuck the blue shell.
Songs.
Yeah. 1 coin, 2 coin, 3 coins, 4 coins, 5 coins.
I have 3 red shells.
Lightning crash. Oh man.
Oh, we've only just briefly spoken about the Bye Bye Man. We've already come up with a better movie.
Yeah, the Fly Man.
It's about the Count playing Mario Kart.
Right, guys, I gotta share this with you. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but it's a YouTube video, right? Like they are, and it's a YouTube video of a censored version of the Count from the Sesame Street singing a song about counting. Now I said it was a censored version of it.
Yeah, why is it censored, Chris?
You need to fucking hear the song. Hold on, I gotta get
makes
it
for a great podcast. I'll put the link in the description below, guys.
Yeah, you'll have to do that. But I mean, this is for like after the podcast. But definitely put this link in there, and it is so worth it. So funny, so amazing. Actually, I have to hit play before I can get the share. There we go, and then I'll copy that link. All right. And I'm going to use this time also to segue because we're about 2 hours in.
Yes.
Is it my turn yet?
It is your turn, sir.
Oh, God.
You need to knock it out of the park and show me how it's done.
Show you how it's done. You know what? Like, honestly, I don't think that it's possible because right now I have no idea what to do to top this kind of insanity, right?
this hyperactive, insane
It's
movie.
like, I don't know how to, like, undo the damage. All I can do is bandage the damage, and that's it. But for a long time, I've been wanting to watch something a little bit more classy. And to that end, I was going to suggest we watch Vincent Price's The Pit and the Pendulum.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I can totally dig a bit of Vincent Price.
Are we familiar with Vincent Price, all of us?
I'm familiar with
love
Vincent
Vincent
Price.
Price.
I've never seen this film though.
Okay, I have seen it, and it
Never
is
watched
good,
it.
and I love the ending.
Are we watching? Because is there more than one version of this, or is there only one version?
I think there is an updated version in the 90s or whatever, but just if you watch the Vincent Price one, then you'll get the
Okay,
right one.
cool.
It's a
It's the
1961.
1961.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's is it black and white?
Yes, I think it's black and white. If it's
Okay,
not black
cool.
and white, then it's in color. I don't care.
Well, there's a colour still here.
No, I'm just only asking because I want to avoid the colorized version, because colorized versions of black and white movies are fucking
Right.
horrible.
I love Chris's directions, by the way. Oh yeah, it's on your right. If it's not on the right, it's on the other right.
Yeah, basically. Oh man.
Looks like it was color.
Yeah, directed by Roger Corman.
Roger Corman.
Yeah.
Oh, so a bit of Galaxy of Terror's coming back, eh?
Oh,
Well, no.
The link, we've come full circle. Except he's actually directed this. This is before he just started producing like 1,000 movies a year.
Yeah. But I did watch this once already, and I thought it was good, and I do like the ending quite a bit because I didn't see it coming really, and it definitely sticks the landing. Is what I'm trying to say. But I've always wanted to watch Vincent Price movies because I just love his charisma. I love his voice. I love how he's like when he's on camera. It's like he commands everything. He's almost like Patrick Stewart in that way. It's like, oh, Patrick Stewart's in this. It's a Patrick Stewart movie.
Yeah,
he doesn't matter.
He's got such good screen
Yeah.
presence. Like, he's just so fun to watch.
So I was hoping that this.
And his advice.
I was hoping that this would be enough of a palate cleanser from the shit we've been watching the last 3 weeks.
okay. No, I'm up for this.
It's something
'cause
completely different.
I like Poe, so
Yeah, that's right. And also, he also did some other Poe movies, so I might suggest those later or whatever. But this is the one that I've actually seen and can confirm that it is good. So
Oh, I'm totally up for watching this. A bit of classic horror. That's good.
yeah, definitely.
how does that feel, guys? To be excited to watch a movie. How does that feel?
Where's the dread and the terror?
Absent. Oh man, no, it's just really good though. I liked it. The only thing I don't like about it is in the very beginning, like during like the opening credits sequence, it's just a bunch of like psychedelic colors swirling in front of the camera. But that's the '60s for you, you know.
Yeah, it's like the very early '60s, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's a product of its time in that regard. It's like, whoa, look at the trippiness, woo, spooky.
Yeah. I was like, what are we watching? What is this shit? It's all colorful. And then he goes to the movie and it's like, oh, the movie's all right, though. It's cool. So, yeah.
You're like, wait, why is all this like foreboding dread? What's all this about? Bring the colors back. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Full sense of security.
So that feels good. It feels good that we're going to watch a movie that I'm going to feel good watching.
Yeah, I'm good with this. This should be fun.
All right.
Neat. Okay.
So I guess we should wrap it up then.
Yeah, well, remains to be said. We have YouTube channels. Matt, you're currently still in The Evil Within 2. And you just put up a Resident Evil Survivor video, which was really good.
It was really good,
Yes,
actually, yeah. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was actually quite happy with how it turned out. I stayed late at work, desperately working on it to try and get it finished in time for Halloween.
Nice.
Because I was like, I want to get something out for Halloween because I want to get something out for Halloween. I want to stick to a schedule. And it's fun. I like creating this shit. So I was happy with some of it. There's, I think, still a few things that I could change if I had more time.
Thompson.
Wait, I'm not Vincent. I still absolutely adore the way he says the words remember when he goes, I can't remember. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the burr? Fucking Ark Thompson's the worst. But yeah, so that's up at the moment, and at the moment on Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8 o'clock UK time, I live stream for a bit, so I'm doing that. Cool. It's all good in the hood. And I'm going to kill myself because I just said it was all good in the hood.
Like a gold 5.
Gone.
How about you, Chris?
Well, if it wasn't for Mario Odyssey, it might have already been done by now, but I am doing my Devil May Cry Let's Play. The good news is that I just plowed through the game recently, so I know exactly what I'm doing as I record. But also, I still like it, so that's good. I look forward to continuing playing it again while recording it. And after that, I'll do a commentary track over the recording. But that, I don't know, I think I'm going to get done with Mario Odyssey pretty quickly. I think it'll be done probably today or tomorrow, and then I'll just get back on DMC. And I'll upload it all at once, like I'd mentioned before. So just
neat. Yeah, I'll binge that shit.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not too sure, but I get what you mean. Like when you go back to a game that you really like, you start playing it, you boot it up, and then that little bit of worry starts to creep in of, oh, what if it's shit now?
Yeah.
Like, what if I don't like it anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, please. And then it's good, and you're, oh, that fuck is so good. Oh, Jesus, so good.
Well, it's like a lot of PS2 games. I loved them. Like Castlevania
Yeah.
Curse of Darkness was one of my favorites, but then I went back and played it again, and while the music is fantastic, it's just so weird to not have complete camera control sometimes, or have weird platforming, or having to use action skills that aren't polished to a mirror shine like they are nowadays. So it's like, parry this thing on one single frame of animation. No. But you have to parry it, or else you won't get the soul, so you can't, like, level up a thing, or you won't get an item, or you have to parry it and then kill so you can get a certain item so you can build a sword that's better than the sword that you have, and it's the only way you can really progress in the game. And it's like, I mean, I like the game, and I'll play it through it sometime, but I lost a lot of my speed, like, going through there. Like, I used to just hack through it, just press the button to get to the end. But now that I know so much about video games design and how action games work, I expect more, and it's just not there anymore. So, Tom?
Yeah, so basically, by the time this comes out, I should have something up. I'm working on something right now. I kind of want to go the whole first year of the podcast, saying that I've got stuff coming and then never put anything up, because that would be a really hilarious meta joke.
One more month to go.
Yeah, I'm almost there, aren't I? Maybe I should just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, soon in capital letters. Before it was, sort of like size 10 font in lowercase. Now it's capital letters.
Nice.
We're kind of moving up, yeah. So there'll be links below to everything. So go check those out. And yeah, we'll meet you back here next time to talk about the pit and the pendulum.
Yes, especially the pit. But the pendulum too.
Pendulum's alright as well, but pit's the star.
Yeah, it really has a great stage presence. Because if you're on stage and there's a pit, you definitely notice its presence.
Like the pit, he's still doing alright, but the pendulum's just a bit washed up.
Yeah. The pit evolves with the times. The pendulum just keeps swinging left and right. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's typecast.
This episode of Spoilers of the Damned was hosted by Axton10_61, Madicus Finch, and Garlips. To find out about us, as well as join the discussion on our Discord, check out all the links in the description below. Please feel free to leave a review or rate us on your podcast app of choice.